Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
Man, when I got
I still think there's a right way to do things, and money has become part of this equation. But if you go back to the right way to do things, I recruit you. We have a great system. You want to be a part of this system. You want to go here, improve your game. While you're here, we're going to win. We're going to put some other guys that are like-minded with you. We're going to create some connectivity, some chemistry, but we're all on the same page here to try to develop you for what you eventually want to become, okay? That whole thing, to me, is still at the core of the foundation of how you're going to build a successful program. We've added money into that equation, and I get that, and you've got to play that game to a certain extent. But when it becomes more about the money than it becomes about that, I think that's where it all gets screwed up for programs and players.
There's only 4 or 5 programs, though, that have that luxury. Fortunately for us, we're one of them. A program like Miami, they don't necessarily have that luxury. They're chasing. Program like Louisville, they're chasing.
I think Kentucky's been chasing a little bit.
They have been chasing.
I'm not trying to pick on them in this.
No, they've been chasing
case.
some. They've been chasing.
But I think what was interesting about that whole deal is they went and hired Mark Pope, but then they tried to make up the difference between Pope and Cal and act like they were the same by spending money on players. And look, they weren't terrible. I mean, they had a formidable roster. But I just think there's really something, too. You're right. I agree 100% with what you're saying, Chuck. There's really something, too, though, when it becomes about that money. It becomes about something different than you really need in your organization
because
to win.
You've overpaid for it. I mean, that's the thing that, I mean, we can talk about this till 10 o'clock in the morning, but that's the part that drives me nuts about the transfer portal. People say, well, you got to have money. You got to have money. Yeah, you do. But at some point, let's spend our money wisely.
Never miss a moment of the Chuck and Bo Show on demand, driven by the Fayetteville Auto Park. Watch us on YouTube, Twitter, every weekday, or stream the podcast version of the show on Spotify or Apple. Just search for the Chuck and Bo Show.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
Man, man, when I got home from work, you wouldn't believe this. My wife said, I heard you call the show this morning. So whoever that is, I imagine it's a co-worker of hers. If you happen to be listening right now, let's just keep this between us, you know.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You're just talking.
No.
You're just talking.
I'm ready to roll right now, Bo.
Cheats, steals.
It's a real talk show.
Live from the Warfield Distillery Studios, Idaho's most awarded distillery.
Let it out.
Let it out.
Let it rip.
Let it go.
If you're a Hog fan, be a Hog fan.
Hey, Bo, you're wrong.
Come in at your own risk. Nobody's safe in here.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
You know, what's the best thing that comes out of the state of Kansas? I-70, okay? All right? And what do you call a good-looking girl in Kansas? A tourist, okay?
Man. Eli,
Dang.
he can't help himself. You give the guy a microphone, you tell him it's SEC Media Days, and he's just going to take a shot at somebody. Yes.
Just get it out. Get it started.
That's it.
Get it. If you're going to be at SEC Media Days, can you say something worth talking about?
Well,
Can
that's
you throw
just
some
it.
Stuff out there?
And I'm sure there's this internal pressure of knowing, I got to follow up Sankey. And, short of saying, hey, the SEC is going to pull out of the NCAA, he's not really going to say anything that's going to grab anybody's attention, or at least not anything that's not been said before. I got to follow up, man. I've got to be the show. And I give him credit. He came through yesterday.
Man, it was Will Stein had a couple things
Yeah.
to say. Why do you think you're going to win at Kentucky? Because of me?
Yeah. And, he didn't say it the way Signetti said it. Signetti said it with like a little bit of a twinkle in his eye, like he knew what he was saying. When Signetti said, I win, Google me, he knew exactly what he was doing.
And we all did.
And Stein didn't say it quite like that, but he basically said, I'm going to be the difference. And he clearly believes in himself.
Well, Will Stein was asked the question, and he answered it, but it wasn't like Signetti said.
No.
But at the same time, it's the thing to say.
Well,
We're
here's
at
the
Kentucky,
deal.
And so Silverfield's got all week here before he gets there
That's
on
right.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I mean, just come out. Don't leave anything in the chamber.
Well, that's right.
Just pop off.
Well, because here's the deal. It's going to be Thursday. There are already people that are going to be planning their trips home. They're, changing their flights, doing whatever. They've been ready to leave since Tuesday. So you've got to come in on Thursday, and you got to bring a little bit of heat. But I was here's the thing about Stein. Here's the thing about Will Stein. We got that?
Do you have that clip?
Yeah.
I can't find it. There it is. Oh, I see it now.
All right, here we go.
Okay, here we go. Here's Will Stein.
All right.
The new Kentucky coach. He was the Oregon offensive coordinator.
Right.
Hired as the new Kentucky head coach.
Kentucky coach.
Said you came here because you can believe you can win here. Why is that? Kentucky historically has fought against a narrative, against perception. Why do you think you can win big here?
This is going to sound like really, I think because of me, to be honest. I think because of me. I think I know what it takes. I've seen it at the highest levels. I know what it takes to recruit at this level. And you just got to believe, man. You just got to put the ball down and play.
Now, when I heard that, my first thought was, man, they're going to use that against him over and over and over again. Every game he loses, well, it's because of you. You came in and said it's going to be because of me. So I guess I'm taking that win or lose. It's because of you. Here's the thing, though. If I'm a fan, I don't want my coach to feel any other way. I want him to feel like it's because of him. I want Ryan Silverfield to come to Fayetteville and to hit that field on opening Saturday feeling like they ain't seen nothing yet. They think they've had good times here before. You watch me win them over. I want him to think like that. If he doesn't think like that, he's going to get eaten alive. Just to be very honest.
I kind of wondered what Mark Stoops was thinking. Like, I would have been.
Well, he probably had a good laugh.
I would have been treated. It would have been a treat to be sitting next to Mark Stoops listening to those comments.
I'm sure he had a good laugh, and everyone that's ever coached at Kentucky has had a good laugh. And when Ryan Silverfield, if he were to say something like that, everybody that's coached at Arkansas would have a good laugh. Because they are walking into something that in many respects they don't know as much about as they think they do. Because they've just not been there yet. But I don't want him to feel any other way. I want them to feel that way when they run onto the field. I want them to think they're the best that ever lived. Because, again, in this league, we talk about this in basketball a lot, how you've got to have a certain amount of swagger to you. If you're a cornerback on the football field, you better have a certain amount of swagger, because if you don't, you're going to get eaten alive. You've got to feel like you're the best that's ever drawn a breath. And if you don't feel that way, I mean, you're going to be chopped liver out there. And so I like this stuff. I don't have any real problem. You know, Eli's good for a laugh, and Stein thinks highly of himself. First game when he's down 40-0, reality will set in at some point, but that's okay too.
Hey, he's been winning a lot at Oregon.
He has.
He's got that winning
but he's not
feeling.
been the head coach.
That's right.
Here's
got
the
that
deal.
winning feeling, though.
He was part of Traylor's staff down there at San Antonio
That's right.
when Lunny was down there. Stein's got a pedigree with some of our guys. He's a pretty good coach, but there's a difference between being an offensive coordinator and being the head coach. I mean, there's just a big difference. I know people think there's not, but there really is.
There's also a big difference in having that winning mentality. And, you can have it coming out of the gate, but is it sustainable? Does it last? You're talking yourself into it. You're feeling great about it. We lost an ultimate winner yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, a true icon. And it's hard to imagine the Razorbacks without Jim Lindsey. Frankly, in Northwest Arkansas, it's hard to imagine daily life without Jim Lindsey. I mean, just an icon who his hand was in so many good things, not just in this immediate region, but all over the state.
When I think of Jim Lindsey, and I have said this on this show, I said it on the old show, I've said it for a decade, I think of the godfather of Arkansas football. And I don't think Arkansas football has been the same since Jim's health began to fail. He was such a difference maker. Forget about his playing career for a second. Let's just talk post-playing career when he took a $75,000 NFL signing bonus, $75,000 NFL signing bonus, bought land with it, and became a successful, really, real estate mogul, and then built apartments. But over the course of his professional career in that field, he got so many things done for the University of Arkansas football program and really helped bring the state together and helped Houston Nutt on his run, who we'll talk to later today, along with Ken Hatfield, who was a teammate of Jim Lindsey's. I don't feel like anybody's been in charge of Razorback football since Jim Lindsey. And I don't mean to be critical of where we are today. That's a little bit of a different topic we can get into if we want to. But I mean it as a compliment to Big Jim. Because I don't know of anybody that had a bigger impact on Razorback football. From what he learned as a player from 63, 64, 65, took on to the NFL for 7 or 8 years, and then brought back that same winning at helped Coach Broyles get so many things done. The younger crowd maybe not familiar with Jim Lindsey, but if you're 45 or older, you know exactly what I'm talking about if you followed the Razorbacks.
I've thought more than once over the last 5, 6, 7 years as the college football landscape changes, NIL, everything becomes about money. His wisdom, not just his, but maybe some others. Would be invaluable in situations like this. I look at that group of men from the early 60s, not just Jim Lindsey, but Jim Williams, his teammate who lives down in Dallas. Jerry Jones, obviously. Incredibly successful men, but men who just were devoted to the Razorbacks in a way that, I'm going to be honest, I don't see that kind of devotion from a lot of former players in this day and age. Now, the world has changed, and I'm not saying I don't know what's in anybody's heart, but I know that those guys, and Jim was the leader of that group, they loved it in a way that is really uncommon. Jim did so many things, and we focus a lot on the big things. Jim did, for every big thing that everybody knew about, I'll bet he did 20 things every day for people that nobody ever knew about. You know, taking care of somebody, picking up the tab for this, somebody didn't have that, making sure somebody's taken care of, make sure this guy gets a fair deal. All these things that he had a hand, make sure that table's filled up at the coach's show. Just all kinds of little things that you don't notice unless you're around it every day. And I think about guys like Jim Lindsay, and I think about Bob and Marilyn Bogle and Jim Williams down in Dallas and so many of those others. They just took care of it, you know, and you never really knew who took care of it. Well, who paid for that? Well, the Bogles paid for it. Who paid for that? Well, Lindsay paid for it. Who paid for that? Jim Williams paid for it.
Or you don't know. You just know it got taken care of.
You just know it got taken care of. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, he was the one that did it. And you just don't find that kind of devotion in people anymore. Let me say one thing before we go to a break. And I've said this before. One of the really great privileges I've had in my life was being on the Brandon Burlsworth Foundation board. And I've been on it for 25 years, I guess. In the early days, Jim Lindsay and Stanley Reed, after Brandon's death, founded this foundation with the idea that they were going to endow scholarships for originally walk-on athletes at Arkansas, and it's expanded from that. To this day, there have been almost 500 students who have received almost $3 million in scholarship money through the work of Jim Lindsay and Stanley Reed. And that goes way beyond the Razorback. That's impacting everyday life in Arkansas. Now, the foundation's morphed into other things from there. But I can remember some of these early meetings when I was just merely a child and just listening to them. You know, Jim Lindsay used that word goodwill more than any human being I've ever heard in those meetings. Just in those meetings, I heard the word goodwill come out of his mouth more than I've ever heard it from any other human being in 63 years combined. But he used it regularly. He understood. I heard him talk about the value, the monetary value of goodwill. And just a brilliant man. And we have lost someone that is as close to irreplaceable as you can be on this earth. And we will miss him in a way that we can't even comprehend.
81 years old.
Yeah.
The news came yesterday that Jim Lindsay had passed. Services 2:30 on Friday at UBC. And with that, we'll take a break, and we'll be remembering Jim Lindsay today. You know, see, this is what the Chuck and Bo Show is. You just show up and have coffee with you.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Still searching for the perfect summer getaway? Mountain Home Arkansas might just be your answer. Wake up in the Ozark Hills. Hit the White River at sunrise. World-class fishing, hiking, trails, kayaking, and when the sun goes down, it's the kind of quiet you forgot existed. 2 lakes, 1 great town. All right here in the Arkansas Ozarks. Check it out at enjoymountainhome.com. Mountain Home Arkansas, where the outdoors is a way of life.
Thinking about buying or selling a business? Well, trust the experts at Arkansas Business Brokers, powered by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. Whether you're ready to sell a business you've built from the ground up, or you're looking for the perfect opportunity to become your own boss, Arkansas Business Brokers can guide you through every step of the process. Their experienced team helps make complex transactions simple. Text BUSINESS to 479-306-6139 for a free consultation, or visit arkansasbusinessbrokers.com.
In a world full of shortcuts, one whiskey refused. 100% local Idaho barley, aged in Idaho's mountain climate. For complexity you can taste, a spirit that answers to the land and no one else. This is not just whiskey. This is a declaration. Warfield, American single malt whiskey from Idaho's most awarded distillery. Set the standard. Available at select spirits retailers nationwide. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 or older.
For over 20 years, ProLand Title has been making title insurance easy for Arkansas families. Founded right here in Arkansas with over 45 offices statewide, our team of title insurance veterans will work alongside you every step of the way. They're independently owned, so their only priority is you. ProLand Title can say yes when others can't. Cheer for the pigs, close with the pros. Visit ProLandTitle.com to get a quote today.
just so you know, and we've talked about this from day one on the show, nobody's safe in here.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Summer in Arkansas means long days outside.
Whether you're headed to the lake, playing 18, or firing up the grill with friends, summer in Arkansas keeps you moving.
And with all those summer activities, you're going to need a beer that keeps up.
And that's where Yuengling Flight comes in. Just 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs, brewed for people who like to stay active and still enjoy a great tasting beer.
Make Yuengling Flight part of your summer plan.
Yuengling Flight, the next generation of light beer.
DG Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Enjoy responsibly.
In a world full of shortcuts, one whiskey refused. 100% local Idaho barley, aged in Idaho's mountain climate. For complexity you can taste, a spirit that answers to the land and no one else. This is not just whiskey. This is a declaration. Warfield, American single malt whiskey from Idaho's most awarded distillery. Set the standard. Available at select retailers nationwide. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 or older.
Baseball taught me teamwork, dedication, and the power of community. That's why I'm teaming up with Paschal ProPath to give back to charities that give every kid a chance to play. And right now you can pitch in. For every Paschal member signed up today through the end of May, Paschal will donate a portion of every membership to give back to youth sports. Become a member today, help give back in a big way. Pitch in with Paschal ProPath and help support kids in your community. Join today at PaschalProPath.org.
Hey, it's Bo, and I had no idea how little I knew about insurance until my man James Boyette of State Farm started telling me. For over a decade, he's been delivering real value, not just the lowest price. That means helping customers find the right coverage for their life with personalized plans that evolve as life changes. Serving all of Arkansas and Missouri. If you're looking for a true insurance partner, auto, home, life, whatever you need, go to JamesBoyett.com.
Hey, thanks for tuning in this morning. Hang out with Bo and me every weekday morning from 6 to 9 live on YouTube or Twitter, or catch up with the podcast version of the show available on Spotify and Apple.
Get up. You got to get up. You got to go. You're going to feel worse if you don't. Feel better now.
I don't know about
Hate
that.
it later.
You might feel better staying in bed.
You will. You will.
That's an embellishment. You might feel better staying in bed.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Jim Lindsay is, to me, the epitome of what a Razorback's all about.
Down the sideline he goes for 28 yards.
When he got a chance to wear that helmet, it was a total devotion of love for him.
He would have died trying to play for the Hogs.
Never met a soul, not one soul that I could say, that felt about his school like I felt about mine.
His heart and soul has been Arkansas his whole life.
It was probably about 10 years ago, and my granddad was probably about 66. We were on about the 1 yard line, and my uncle JD asked him, "You think you could punch it in one more time?" He goes, "Just give me some pads, I'll get it in the end zone."
Oh, man. That was a few years back. We had a hog pod on Jim Lindsay, episode 32. We've done over 300 hog pods. That's how long ago it was, episode 32, if you want to go back. And today would be a good day, and I know they're going to re-release it at some point this week. We lost Jim Lindsay yesterday at 81. I think we're honoring Jim today. I think we're remembering him, and I think we're celebrating him. And, you know, if you ever heard Jim Lindsay talk, like he spoke at a Petrino fantasy camp one year. It was back like 2008, 2009.
I was there.
And, I mean, it almost make you emotional.
Oh, yeah.
Like it meant something to him.
Made the hair on the back of your neck stand up. I guarantee you that.
that you can't fake your way through what it meant to him. The Pryor Center has a page on Jim Lindsay. You can go to their website, and you can scroll down kind of bottom left, and there's a bunch of videos there that you can just clip on different topics. 2-3 minutes, a minute here, a minute there on just different topics. And here's one on him dreaming of coming to Arkansas.
The Razorbacks, to me, were synonymous with Arkansas. I would listen to it. But I would say that if I could describe how I saw myself in relationship to Arkansas, I was a fan. I was listening. I was just a kid listening. And it was as far away to me as Mars was looking at it in the sky, that I could go to the university and be a football player there. It just was not out there. I remember thinking, is it possible in my wildest imaginations? What would I have to do? Maybe I could go to Arkansas and walk on. Maybe I could figure out somehow to get up there, And so I just kept playing, practicing, going day to day, running into all the hardships and difficulties that all sports always bring. I mean, it's certainly not mostly success. It's usually mostly difficulty. I was just a dreamer. That's all I was. I mean, I was laying in that bed throwing that ball up at night. I wasn't thinking about that I'm going to be a player at Arkansas, later play in the pro football and all that. I mean, it wasn't predominantly in my mind. What was in my mind was like a dream. I wasn't real overwhelmingly smart, but I was just on fire inside. That's all I could say. I was on fire inside for the sports. I was on fire inside for the success of my high school team, or for when I got a chance to come to Arkansas. I was on fire inside.
If you're of a certain age, and obviously he is and was, Fayetteville was the promised land. I mean, the University of Arkansas was the promised land. And this was before 49, when you got close, I mean, when you got to Greenland, I mean, there was an excitement. And anyone that's grown up in this state identifies with everything he just said. I mean, I had goosebumps listening to it. Now, I mean, I gave up on the notion I was going to play football up here about, fourth grade. But for a guy like Jim Lindsey, that was obviously something that he was going to be able to do. But just for kids in Arkansas that think about coming to the U of A and going to school, you want to talk about being on fire inside. And obviously that fire burned in him a lot longer than it does in most people.
I just can't help but think when I look, we talk about this, having the same conversation for 30 years, how does Arkansas win at football? I just can't help but think Jim Lindsey was the definition of how you win at football at Arkansas. And by the way, this will get lost a little bit today. It wasn't just him. If you go back and watch, which I watched most of it yesterday, 22 Straight, Larry Foley directed that, and you can find it. In fact, I think he tweeted a link to it yesterday. The longtime journalism professor at the University of Arkansas. All of the players on that team, like Kent Hatfield, we'll play a clip later when he comes on the show, talked about running sprints in the summer in Helena, and the last sprint grabbing a football and dreaming about returning the opening kickoff against Texas for a touchdown. Like it meant something. It didn't just mean something, it meant everything. And Jim was the embodiment, the example of that, and continued to live that out his entire life. It went into every aspect of his business. It went into helping people. It went into trying to help the Razorbacks, to helping coaches get things done. And like somewhere along the way, I'm not saying we don't have that anymore. They're still selling 50,000 season tickets and people still love the Razorbacks. But somewhere along the way, it feels like we've lost that spirit somewhere.
It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the Razorbacks. Orville Henry said that years and years and years ago, and in the form of advice. And it applies. And that generation, that's how they lived. It was not about them. We live in a what's in it for me world now. Yeah, you can sell 50,000 tickets, not just here, but any college in the Southeastern Conference, certainly. And what does every single one of those ticket buyers want? They want to beat somebody's butt on Saturday. And if they don't, they want somebody fired. That's just how it works. Everybody wants something now. There's so much money on the table. Everything costs so much now. Everybody's getting paid so much now. It always seems like everybody's getting rich but me. And so you get into a situation where you do start to think, well, what's in it for me? This guy's getting rich over here. What's in it for me? That generation, and I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying those guys, and Jim Lindsey was their leader. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the Razorbacks. And it's just not like that anymore. I'm not casting stones and being critical and throwing anybody under the bus. I'm just saying the world's changed.
Oh, yeah. And going back to this 22 Straight, this is the clip, I believe, of Jim going into the huddle before a drive against Texas. and motivating the team.
To rally the team, Royals turned to Jim Lindsey, the injured senior leader who had barely played.
And you could tell by looking in our guys' faces that there was some doubt and some question, which would be normal. And, my only role was to say that they weren't going to take this without a fight. They're not going to come to Arkansas and take this game away from us. And this is our game. This is our place. This is our stadium. This is our day. They're not going to take this game.
We should not lose sight of the fact that he was a really good football player. He was the leading rusher and the leading receiver on a team that won the national championship. That's a mouthful right there. And went on to play in the National Football League. His play on the field added extra cachet when he said things like what he just said in the locker room. Everything that he said as a player, he backed up. And he's not only one of our most successful Razorbacks, he was just flat out one of our best players. And played on, arguably the best team we've ever had.
64 national championship, 22 straight they won at one point in that streak, and we're 26-6 with him on the football team.
Yeah. And, he wasn't the only one, but he was a big part of it. There's no doubt about that. And you want to talk about a compliment. Coach Broyles said that Jim Lindsey and Jerry Jones were the two smartest people he'd ever met. That's a coach talking about two of his players. He's not talking about his peers. He's not talking about his mentors. He's not talking about somebody that's older than him. He's talking about two guys that played for him. Jim Lindsey and Jerry Jones, two smartest men I've ever met.
And then Jim Lindsey spent all that time being Coach Broyles' right-hand guy in so many things.
I promise you, Coach Broyles did not make a decision without discussing it with Jim Lindsey. And not seeking his approval necessarily, but seeking his advice.
It's 6:28, remembering Jim Lindsey today, among other things, but we will be doing that frequently throughout the day. If you have thoughts, you're welcome to weigh in. 877-377-6963. You can text or call the show. It's 6:28. Jim Lindsey passed away yesterday at the age of 81. Are we a bunch of idiots or what?
Yes, we are. Yes. Yes, we are. Yes.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Ben Blakeman joining us to talk about something they've been doing for 35 years, helping Arkansans with their stories and jewelry.
We want you to feel comfortable. We want you to feel confident. We want you to be educated. And we have a larger selection. We have more opportunities, more availability. Some people come in knowing exactly what they want. Some people come in having never been into a jewelry store before. We want both experiences to exceed all expectations.
Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, the official jeweler of the Arkansas Razorbacks. There's no better place to watch a game than Walk On Sports Bistro. With more than 60 TVs at every location, catch all the summer sports action while you cool off with mouth-watering Louisiana favorites like po' boys and gumbo, plus burgers, ice-cold draft beers, and cocktails made for hot days. Incredible food, outstanding service, and a game day atmosphere that never takes a season off. Visit one of the 5 locations across Arkansas today, including Rogers and Fayetteville. Walk On Sports Bistro. We live for this.
Hey guys, you're having a great show today.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Getting the job done means tough and reliable equipment, and that's what WT Equipment is known for. A locally family-owned dealership with 4 locations across Arkansas, and always ready to help you get the job done. WT Equipment carries the brands you trust, like the legendary Bobcat and more, and they're offering aggressive pricing on skid steers and mini excavators. Whether you need equipment, implements, or powerful Bobcats, the friendly team at WT Equipment is ready to help. Visit WTEquip.com.
Oaklawn is here for when you want the ultimate escape, all in one place. Check into the luxury hotel. Escape to Astral Spa, the only Forbes 4-star rated spa in Arkansas. Indulge at award-winning restaurants like the Bugler or the Oak Room and Bar, all before having the time of your life at the 24/7 smoke-free casino, where the energy goes all night. Here, excitement and luxury meet under one roof. Oaklawn Hot Springs. Join the fun. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Experience football game days on the Hill this fall as head coach Ryan Silverfield leads the Hogs into 2026. Great home matchups line the 7-game slate in Fayetteville, including kickoff in Arkansas on September 5th, the SEC home opener versus the Georgia Bulldogs on September 19th, and a Thanksgiving weekend rivalry battle with the LSU Tigers. Season tickets start at just $300 and are available now at ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
When it comes to a roof or remodel, you want somebody that's going to do what they say they're going to do. They're going to come in on time and on budget. And you might need it right now and can't afford it at this moment. Well, Teamwork has a plan for you, now offering financing options like 0 down, 0% for 12 months, or low fixed payments over time and no payments for 60 days. Log on to their website, teamworkbuilt.com. Teamworkbuilt.com. Teamwork Roofing and Construction, built on quality and powered by Teamwork. Favorite Razorback from the Chad Morris era. Let's do that. We're doing random Razorbacks today. And Dionisio Gomez has the lead. He's the leader in the clubhouse. He is the Razorback of the day.
Brutal.
And we're going to look for your favorite Razorback during the Chad Morris era. Was it Ty Story when he came back with Western Kentucky?
It might have been. It was the loudest cheer of those 2 years was when Ty Story
I think
came
the
back.
crowd was actually rooting for Ty Story in Western Kentucky.
Where's Duval Wally?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Was
Who was a running back in the Chad Morris era? Do we remember any of this? Rakeem Boyd.
That's the only person I can think of.
From junior college.
Because
From
Devois
Notch
Whaley
Chance
was
U.
he was a Bielema guy, right?
No, he played 1 year with Morris.
Did he?
He played the same year.
Most people did.
Yeah.
Most people played 1 year with Morris. Name the quarterback room for the Chad Morris era. How about that?
Cole Kelly,
Nick
Ty
Starkle.
Story, Nick Starkle, Ben Hicks throws picks.
Ben Hicks. You don't have to take shots at
Nolan.
people.
Golly,
You can say,
Bart, come
golly.
on. I mean,
Connor
he
Nolan,
did his best.
Connor Nolan, John Stephen Jones,
That's right.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's like 8 quarterbacks.
and none of them won an SEC
Yeah, none of them
game.
panned out, did they?
Jack Lindsay.
Connor Nolan.
Jack Lindsay played. Yeah, that's right.
Connor
Played
Nolan's
well.
in,
Now,
in
did Jack
AAA.
play for Lunny? Did Lindsay start when Lunny had taken over?
That's a good question.
I don't recall exactly. I think Lunny might have been the interim then.
Better interim coach, Barry Lunny Jr., John L. Smith.
Well, people have done worse than 4-8. I think it should be probably noted there. I mean, John L. That was not a great year, but people have done
But he
worse.
sure was. He sure
people
was
have done
entertaining.
worse.
Never miss a moment of the Chuck and Bo Show on demand, driven by the Fayetteville Auto Park. Watch us on YouTube, Twitter, every weekday, or stream the podcast version of the show on Spotify or Apple. Just search for the Chuck and Bo Show.
I've learned so much just off the air today, listening to Bart and Edward and Riley. I'm really out of touch. I mean, I really am.
With what?
With everything.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
To rally the team,
Well, that's not the right one. We'll get back to that in a minute. But here's what I was trying to play.
By now, you've probably seen that we're going to play Indiana in Madison Square Garden on November 17th. You know we like to play anybody, anywhere, anytime. We played in the Garden. We played Michigan in the Garden a few years back, 2 years back. We brought 8,000 people. Here's the challenge. With us playing Indiana, one of the top programs in our country, who travel, we got to make sure we show the Garden we travel better than Indiana travels. They're going to have a ton of people there. Mark that date down. We need you at that game. What we want to do every year is play in the Garden. It's a great trip. It highlights us nationally in what we're doing. Still not done with the schedule. Got a couple more coming. Again, good games that we're trying to keep elevating what we're doing. Television, what we're doing. Playing over Thanksgiving, again. I'll touch base again, but mark that date down, November 17th in New York City. We need to be there.
So Cal has another marquee game lined up, non-conference, November 17th at Madison Square Garden. MSG wants to play there every year.
Well, I mean, every year, this will be 3 years in a row we've been up there. I haven't played at the Garden all 3 years, but stayed in Manhattan last year and then played over in New Jersey. So, there was a time when you'd recruit a kid, you'd say, if you stay here for 4 years, you're going to go to Hawaii. We're going to play in Hawaii.
At the Maui Invitational.
Yeah, we're going to go to the Maui Invitational or that tournament in Honolulu. We're going to something if you stay here for 4 years. And now, guys don't stay for 4 years. So you got to promise them pretty much something every year. And New York City's a pretty good thing to tell kids about. Hey, you come play here. We're going to go play at the Garden every year. You're going to play in the Mecca. You're going to go to the basketball Mecca and play every time you're here. So I think that's pretty neat.
So Cal is not done. He said also
No.
they're gonna have some more games scheduled. So we'll see what they end up with a complete slate. But it's always going to be. And listen, we were talking about SEC Media Days. We talked about Bryson DeChambeau yesterday. You got be interesting. When I say be interesting, I don't mean just do wacky things to be interesting, but be you. Cal brings such a character to college basketball. He's his own personality, own character, and as long as he's the coach here, you're going to have a roster to talk about, a roster to be excited about, and then you're going to have games that matter before you get to SEC play, which if you're a basketball fan, what greater gift is there than to be relevant for the entire season? We used to just wait most of the time until January, maybe later, to really kind of get into what's going on. Well, you can't help but pay attention now in the non-conference. And then, of course, you get into league play, and then you are into the postseason. That's the whole season. He's managed to make – and by the way, Arkansas is not like some rinky-dink basketball program before he got here. But guys like Cal make college basketball interesting for the entire season.
The one thing that I am going to say about all this is we've got to make sure as a fan base that we don't look at this as just a set of TV games. He talked about going to the Garden, going to New York. Now, I'm not saying everybody can just lay down the cash and go to New York City at the drop of a hat. I'm not dismissing the financial aspect of it. But you can't just say, isn't it neat that we play at Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, and then the Razorbacks come on TV and there's no Razorback fans there. Or isn't it neat that we're playing so-and-so and then you turn it on, nobody's calling the Hogs, just a TV game. I'm going to say this, there should have been more people at that game at Dallas. When the last time Razorbacks played basketball down there, should have been more people there. There weren't, wasn't full. It shocked me. It's not just about watching them on TV. That's a great byproduct of being nationally relevant. But part of your brand is that you travel. We have a reputation as a basketball fan base of traveling. When Arkansas plays in Dallas, if they play in Dallas this year, I don't know if they will, but if they do, that should be a really, really tough ticket. It shouldn't be one of those things where a Razorback fan in Dallas wakes up Saturday morning and says, I think I'll go to the game today. You need to have had to have made those plans a long time prior to that. It needs to be that valuable. So I hope, and again, I'm not dismissing the fact that, not everyone can just drop everything and go to New York City. But I hope in some of these games, that game, the Detroit game, some of the others, Razorback fans are represented well.
It's interesting because you can't make people be interested. You can't make them you can't tell them, all right, we got to rally and go. I think they've created the excitement that makes people want to go. I also think, though, that we are living in a time where we've got more going on and more distractions and things to do than we've ever had before, and it makes attendance challenging.
I agree
for
with that.
everybody.
I agree with that.
But you care, you make your fans care by winning, by being entertaining, by being competitive, all those things. That gives you the best shot to do things like this. And I do think that they'll have a lot of people at Madison Square Garden. I mean, I want to go, don't you?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
I'm looking
doesn't
forward
it sound
to
fun?
The first time I walked in there, and look, you guys know I'm a Knicks fan. I'd never been to the Garden. I'd never been to a game there. It's like we went up there, like opened up a whole new world for me. It was like I was going back to my childhood. I loved it. And I think about these players and how fortunate and I know basketball gives them opportunities. These are great players. A lot of them are future pros. They're going to see the world through the game of basketball. But for a lot of people who travel and the guys on the team that aren't going to play in the NBA, and there aren't many of them, but there are some, this is a big deal. This is a trip they'll remember the rest of their lives.
We've been talking about Jim Lindsey today. Passes away at the age of 81. The announcement came yesterday. The funeral service, 2:30 Friday afternoon at UBC, University Baptist Church in Fayetteville. Edward and I and Bart were communicating, and all of us really, yesterday about like just what we could play on the show today to remember Big Jim. And Edward didn't have a huge familiarity with Jim Lindsey. I mean, he's in his late 20s, and he knew he had heard of Jim Lindsey. But we got on the phone, and we talked about it a little bit. I'm curious, in the last 24 hours, what have you learned about Jim Lindsey? Because this is a generational thing. And he's been declining in health for several years, and so hasn't been out like he was around 2008, 2010, where we'd hear from him a little bit more. What have you learned in the last 24 hours?
Well, beyond learning, who he was as a player and post that, I love the way he talks about the Razorbacks and wanting to be a Razorback and wanting to come to Arkansas and being from Arkansas, and that's his dream. As a kid from Arkansas, much like Chuck, I gave up on playing football very early too, but I always dreamed of going to the University of Arkansas and being here, and you just don't hear people talk like that, not even anymore, but really in my lifetime. You don't hear a lot of that. You'll get the occasional, Grant Morgan who like dies to be a Razorback from Arkansas, Greenwood kid. But you just don't hear a lot of that
good
anymore.
reference.
And so it's cool to listen to all these clips from days past and hear the passion.
A lot of kids came to Fayetteville, and Jim Lindsey came obviously, to gain an education and play football. But, a lot of kids came to Fayetteville, and they might not have left town with a degree, but they left town with an education. And this is kind of where you came to get educated on life. And fortunate, if you were fortunate, you walked out here with a degree. But you sure walked out here with a lot of lessons, regardless. And Jim Lindsey epitomized the Arkansas dream. He lived out the Arkansas dream. When he talked about laying in bed and throwing a football up in the air, dreaming of that moment, every kid in Arkansas who's ever had a football had that dream. And he lived it out. And then not only did he live it out, he took the experiences that he got through that and built a life that I promise you most kids coming out of Helena, Arkansas could only dream about. And he built it, made it reality. He lived the Arkansas dream. And very, very few people have the opportunity to do that because you got to make it happen. It doesn't just occur by accident. You've got to go grab it by the horns and make it happen, and he knew how to do that.
What is the Arkansas dream anymore?
I don't know.
That's the
But
thing.
that was what it was then,
Yeah,
he lived it. He lived the Arkansas dream.
I guess I have this, a little bit of a fantasy here that by remembering Jim, we can recapture some of this Arkansas dream.
Well, maybe.
This Arkansas feeling.
There are lessons to take, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's good. Exactly. This is classic Jim right here.
One of Coach Broyles' axioms, a man must have an attitude of gratitude in this life, that you have to be grateful with a grateful heart before it even happens for you, happens to you, or you won't even recognize it. And the attitude of gratitude is a very critical part of everybody's understanding of the good things of life. Because if you don't have an attitude of gratitude, you won't ever recognize it. You won't ever see it. You won't ever understand it. You'll be thinking, why ain't they doing more for me? Why ain't this guy saying yes to everything I'm asking him instead of saying thank you for the last yes you gave me? So an attitude of gratitude is a crisis-critical part of, I think, a peaceful, successful life.
Well said, and we've heard that a lot, but haven't heard it in a while.
And when you hear it, it just sounds so simple. Oh, it's a lot more complicated than that, Mr. Lindsey. Is it? Is it really? Is it really any more complicated than what he just said?
Really isn't.
It really isn't.
It really isn't. We're brought to you in part by First Security Bank today, helping you bank better every day. They have that Arkansas attitude, and that's what they've built their entire business on, being just like that. And a great relationship with the Lindsays, obviously, over the years. First Security Bank, you can find one near you. 75 locations throughout the state, helping you bank better every day by just being friendly local professionals that are on top of the latest in the banking world. First Security Bank, member FDIC. Good morning.
Well, I've got a lot more rhythm than people realize.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
When it comes to a roof or remodel, you want somebody that's going to do what they say they're going to do. They're going to come in on time and on budget. And you might need it right now and can't afford it at this moment. Well, Teamwork has a plan for you. Now offering financing options like 0 down, 0% for 12 months, or low fixed payments over time and no payments for 60 days. Log on to their website, teamworkbuilt.com. Teamworkbuilt.com. Teamwork Roofing and Construction, built on quality and powered by Teamwork.
Great people, great prices, and plenty to pick from. You get it all at Fayetteville Auto Park. Acuras, Chevys, Hondas, Toyotas, even a collision center, all at one location. Shop new, used, and certified pre-owned. Plus, Fayetteville Auto Park has hundreds of new and pre-owned automobiles with big discounts starting at under $30,000. Shop our complete selection online at FayettevilleAutopark.com. That's FayettevilleAutopark.com. Summer in Arkansas means long days outside.
Whether you're headed to the lake, playing 18, or firing up the grill with friends, summer in Arkansas keeps you moving.
And with all those summer activities, you're going to need a beer that keeps up.
And that's where Yingling Flight comes in. Just 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs, brewed for people who like to stay active and still enjoy a great tasting beer.
Make Yingling Flight part of your summer plan.
Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer.
DG Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Enjoy responsibly.
Who says bigger is always better? Burton Pools and Spas is the area's exclusive dealer for plunge pools by Thursday Pools. In-ground fiberglass pools designed for today's lifestyles with easy maintenance and more time for fun. Cool off after work, relax with family, or host friends for game day. And right now, installed plunge pool packages start under $40,000. Stop by one of Burton Pools and Spas' 5 convenient locations or visit burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, water for a better life.
Experience football game days on the Hill this fall as head coach Ryan Silverfield leads the Hogs into 2026. Great home matchups line the 7-game slate in Fayetteville, including kickoff in Arkansas on September 5th, the SEC home opener versus the Georgia Bulldogs on September 19th, and a Thanksgiving weekend rivalry battle with the LSU Tigers. Season tickets start at just $300 and are available now at ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
Life is better with community banking from First Security, where personal connections make a difference every day. Families get bankers who know their names, know their needs, and love to help. Businesses work with responsive lenders who make fast local decisions that help build success. And communities thrive with First Security because our team is rooted here too. Choose the power of personal. First Security. Bank better. FSBank.com, member FDIC.
Don't be talking down to people, Bart.
I am going to talk down to people when they're wrong.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
For over 25 years, Pro Land Title has been making title insurance easy for Arkansas families. Founded right here in Arkansas with over 45 offices statewide, their team of title insurance veterans will work alongside you, your realtor, and your loan officer every step of the way. They're independently owned, so the only priority is you. Their relationships with national underwriters allow them to say yes when others can't. Cheer for the pigs, close with the pros. Visit ProLandTitle.com and get a quote today. There's no better shopping experience than you're going to find at Macadoodles or at Guess Who in Bentonville. With an unbeatable selection, amazing prices, and service that's unbeatable, they've got everything you need. Roger and the team are always there to help.
I love it. I've been doing this for 53 years, and one of the things I love most about it is our customers. Part of what makes me love the retail business is just the interaction with my customers.
Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
Man, I love spending time at Big Creek Country Club and Mountain Home. The golf, the people, the hospitality, and the events they host always hit the mark. Members enjoy it all. They've got state-of-the-art practice facilities, dining, events, a big pool with a snack and beverage bar, as well as tennis and pickleball courts. There's no initiation fee, and for out-of-towners, a membership is only $185 a month. Big Creek Country Club and Mountain Home. Your home away from home.
I love a day or weekend at Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. The golf, the people, the hospitality, and the events they host always hit the mark, and members enjoy it all. State-of-the-art practice facilities, food, beverages, a big pool with a snack and beverage bar, tennis and pickleball courts, and they can even book you an exclusive fly fishing trip. There's no initiation fee, and for out-of-towners, a membership is only $185 a month. It's Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. It's home away from home.
Hey, thanks for tuning in this morning. Hang out with Bo and me every weekday morning from 6 to 9 live on YouTube or Twitter, or catch up with the podcast version of the show available on Spotify and Apple.
Chuck and I have been doing radio our entire lives. We've been doing shows like this our entire lives. But I feel like we've been having these same conversations for 30 years, Chuck. And it is basically, how do we win at football?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
6:53 on the Chuck and Bo Show. I was thinking of Coach Hatfield a minute ago. Jim was talking about Coach Hatfield. I said Helena, talking about Jim Lindsay. He's from Forest City. Coach Hatfield's from Helena. I want to correct myself there. I got it wrong.
Well, it happens. Slip of the tongue. We haven't heard from Bart, so we don't know what all is wrong with the world today. Bart's over in the Chevy of Fayetteville Situation Room as we've been remembering Jim Lindsay and hitting on some other news items from the day. Bart, good morning. Is everything okay?
Hot enough for you, Bart?
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Nothing.
I was just letting you guys go.
When you left us yesterday, you were in a fight with the landscaping guy, the guy mowing the lawn.
Yeah, what happened on that?
My neighbor's lawn. Nothing's happened as of yet.
Is there grass still?
Now, when
all
you
over
say
your
as
AC
of
unit?
yet,
No,
it means it sounds like something might.
Well, I mean, there need to be consequences for actions. People need to be held accountable.
What kind of consequences you got in mind?
People need to be held accountable for the things they do, and being unprofessional. And
have you hired some muscle?
No.
I don't think simple word of mouth is going to get it done, though, Bart. I think you're going to have to take some sort of further action.
Well, I'm working.
Have you lawyered up?
No.
So this guy blew grass all over your house, all over your new HVAC unit, the whole deal.
Yeah, side discharge mower. Clearly not a professional.
It's like
situation.
stuck to your house, stuck to your stuff.
And it's a touchy subject because Bart had to replace his air conditioner while we were off enjoying vacation.
Yeah.
And so you got a pristine new unit, and he's blowing grass on it for crying out loud.
And the guy had the audacity to be threatening and, use some choice language. And
did he call you names?
Yeah, well, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He called you a name?
Well, I mean, like, in a way of speaking, yeah.
Yeah? He talked down to
He
you?
asked you if you had a job.
Yeah, he did.
Do you have a job?
Yeah. So look, we're gonna find out more exactly who this guy is, what this company is, and
you're gonna ruin his life, aren't you? You're gonna ruin his life.
We'll take action from there.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Well, nobody deserves to treat.
Bart's coming, and hell's coming with it.
Nobody deserves to be treated that way or have their property treated that way. That's the bottom line.
Chuck and Bo on Demand is driven by the Fayetteville Auto Park.
Pascal, comfort and quality are well within reach. For over 50 years, homeowners have trusted them for world-class service. Every detail matters. Right now, get a brand new high-efficiency AC and furnace system starting at just $79.99 with payments as low as $100 a month. No shortcuts, no surprises. Just Pascal quality at a price more families can afford. Same week installation is available, so click over to gopascal.com to schedule.
Getting the job done means tough and reliable equipment, and that's what WT Equipment is known for. A locally family-owned dealership with 4 locations across Arkansas, and always ready to help you get the job done. WT Equipment carries the brands you trust, like the legendary Bobcat and more, and they're offering aggressive pricing on skid steers and mini excavators. Whether you need equipment, implements, or powerful Bobcats, the friendly team at WT Equipment is ready to help. Visit WTEquip.com.
Man, I love spending time at Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. The golf, the people, the hospitality, and the events they host always hit the mark. Members enjoy it all. They've got state-of-the-art practice facilities, dining, events, a big pool with a snack and beverage bar, as well as tennis and pickleball courts. There's no initiation fee, and for out-of-towners, a membership is only $185 a month. Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. Your home away from home.
Oaklawn is here for when you want the ultimate escape, all in one place. Check into the luxury hotel. Escape to Astral Spa, the only Forbes 4-star rated spa in Arkansas. Indulge at award-winning restaurants like the Bugler or the Oak Room and Bar, all before having the time of your life at the 24/7 smoke-free casino, where the energy goes all night. Here, excitement and luxury meet under one roof. Oaklawn Hot Springs. Join the fun. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I don't know if anybody else is having fun, but this is a blast for me.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
At First Security Bank, banking isn't one size fits all. It's personal because everyone's financial journey looks a little different. From managing day-to-day spending, to running a small business, to helping your kids learn more smart money habits, or taking that big step toward buying a home. At First Security, you get the services you expect, the technology you need, and the real support of local people who live here, know the community, and take the time to understand what you're trying to accomplish. Life moves fast, and having a bank that moves with you makes a difference. Whether you prefer stopping by a branch, banking on the app, or picking up the phone to talk with someone who actually knows your name, First Security is there. They offer smart tools like mobile banking, bill pay, and mobile check deposit, along with thoughtful solutions like flex banking for kids, checking built for small businesses, and local mortgage lenders who guide you through the home buying process. Choose the power of personal. Bank better at First Security. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Ben Blakeman joining us to talk about something they've been doing for 35 years, helping Arkansans with their stories and jewelry.
You know, we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to feel confident. We want you to be educated. And we have a larger selection. We have more opportunities, more availability. Some people come in knowing exactly what they want. Some people come in having never been into a jewelry store before. We want both experiences to exceed all expectations.
Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, the official jeweler of the Arkansas Razorbacks. When it comes to a roof or remodel, you want somebody that's going to do what they say they're going to do. They're going to come in on time and on budget. And you might need it right now and can't afford it at this moment. Well, Teamwork has a plan for you. Now offering financing options like 0 down, 0% for 12 months, or low fixed payments over time and no payments for 60 days. Log on to their website, teamworkbuilt.com. Teamworkbuilt.com. Teamwork Roofing and Construction, built on quality, empowered by Teamwork.
Previously heard on the Chuck and Bo Show.
I do think that there is value in this because, look, I don't know how else to say it. As you build, if you're struggling, as you struggle, all of those things. Sometimes it's better to do it with kids from your own backyard than it is with kids that nobody knows anything about, because you root for kids from your own backyard. And that's one of the things, it's one of the reasons that I think it's important for all programs to sign in-state kids. And I know the portal is going to determine a lot of programs' fates. Maybe Arkansas is one of them. I don't know. But you got to have that core. I also think it grows the game. And it makes it fashionable. Now, you can say, well, it's football. I mean, what are you talking about? Football's already, you don't need to grow football anymore. I think you need to grow the idea that high school football players in Arkansas can go play for the Razorbacks. That's what a generation grew up believing. And I'm not saying it hasn't always been true. The truth is it has always been that way. But I think the public perception perhaps has changed in that regard. And I think what he's doing there is good. Now, look, if you go out there and you're full of in-state kids and you're, nothing changes, maybe that's not the way to go. But I honestly think, Bart, what he's doing right now, I think long term, I think this benefits a lot of people. I just put it that way.
Hey, it's Bo. Thanks for tuning in. Hang out with Chuck and I every weekday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. live on YouTube or Twitter. Or catch up with the podcast version of the show available on Spotify and Apple.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
Aaron from Springdale said, Bart, Arizona's bigs last year would punish our new guys. Head out of your bleep. That's an obvious observation.
But we're not playing.
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? What in the world are you talking about?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You're just talking. No, you're just talking.
I'm ready to roll right now, Bo.
Cheats, steals.
It's a real talk show.
Live from the Warfield Distillery Studios, Idaho's most awarded distillery.
Let it out.
Let it out.
Let it rip.
Let it go.
If you're a Hawk fan, be a Hawk fan.
Hey, Bo, you're wrong.
Come in at your own risk. Nobody's safe in here.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
Clears away for Lindsey, and he wins a 23-yard race. Marshall hits Lindsey to make it 7-0 Arkansas. Lindsey in the clear on the right puts the ball on the Nebraska 43.
Jimmy was one of the most intelligent football players that I've ever been around.
He wasn't as fast as some. He wasn't as big as some. He wasn't as strong as some.
I'd always dreamed of, could this be true for me?
He was short and not very fast.
Jim was always a leader. He always led by example. I told him, we're going to go out there right now. We're going to take it from them.
Then for the score, the Razorbacks leap for joy.
Turn the game around.
Razorback fans are ecstatic. Undefeated in 11 games.
Won a national championship. Became an NFL captain.
We're playing against the best players in the world.
We ended up in the Super Bowl, and that was 1969.
And then built a thriving real estate empire across the South.
A lot of people thought that he was crazy, that he didn't know what he was doing.
I just started growing more and more. We started trying to keep up with it, just keep building. He just wouldn't be denied.
Man, that's a trailer from the documentary, The Lindsey Story. Clint Fullen did.
I believe I'm correct on this. I think that parcel of land that he took his bonus money and bought is what is now the Northwest Arkansas Mall.
That's right. Yeah.
I believe that's right.
Yeah, he flipped it and started the real estate business.
Isn't that incredible?
The apartment empire. And we're remembering Jim Lindsey today. Passed away at the age of 81. The announcement coming yesterday. 64 national championship team. Went on to play a few years in the NFL and took that signing bonus. And under the advice of E.J. Ball, he spent it all on some land, and that's now the Northwest Arkansas Mall.
Isn't that incredible?
And it goes from there. But the attitude, the heart, the spirit that Jim Lindsey had is something that really is the epitome of what it meant to be a Razorback, and where somebody like me that came to this state in 1998 got the education on what it really looked like and what people talk about that we feared we're losing at times. Jim Lindsey was the godfather of Arkansas football. He was the watchdog, the helper, the leader, the mentor, the advisor, the get-it-done guy when it came to any matter, and not just Razorback football, but on the sports show that we have, that's kind of the focus. Did so many things to help so many people in so many ways that were never even known. But the Razorbacks benefited and still benefit today from not only Jim Lindsey as a player, but what he did for many years and decades after.
He was one, and there were many from that era who have been so instrumental in all the things that have happened, not just with the Razorbacks, but with the University of Arkansas and Fayetteville, Northwest Arkansas, and has expanded into other parts of our state. So many of them had so much to do with that, and Jim was their leader. It occurs to me, and it has over the last 24 hours or so, how many times in the clips that we've played just in the first hour of the show have we heard Jim Lindsey say dream or dreaming or dreamed or dreamer? And how many kids in Arkansas for years and years and years have been the ones laying in their bed at night dreaming, in his case of playing for the Razorbacks. And then those dreams come true. I mean, he lived the Arkansas dream in a way that most of us can only imagine. But, when you listen to his words, and I think about him and Jim Williams from that era and Jerry Jones and some of the others, that was a generation that seemingly understood the concept of putting other things above yourself. There's a greater cause. There's a greater good. Whether it's loving your country or loving your school or loving the Razorbacks or loving your church or loving your neighbor or whatever, that generation, and that's why they arguably are our greatest generation, that generation understood that. You didn't hear people like Jim Lindsey talk about what's in it for me. They talked about what's in it, in the case of Arkansas football, what's in it for the Razorbacks? How can I make the Razorbacks better? And it's amazing how people that live that way, it always seems to come back to them tenfold. And that's kind of what, when I look at his life, and he's not the only one. I had the privilege a few weeks back of visiting with Jim Williams down in Dallas. And that's what these people were like. With ease, they put other things above themselves, a cause greater than themselves. And amazingly, again, it all came back to them tenfold. But to me, that's the lesson in the lives that these men lived. And I will just also say, and people who've been around the program for years know this, Jim Lindsey paid for so much stuff that you had no idea he paid for.
Yeah.
Who paid for that? Well, Lindsey did. Yeah. Who paid for that? Well, Lindsey paid for it.
Or we think he did.
Yeah.
Anonymously.
Just a generous heart. Because to him, it was not about him. It was not about you. It was about the Razorbacks. And that's where the story started, and that's where it ended. And that's a life to be admired. Because most people now, and I'm one of them, we all fall guilty. We're all guilty of too many times saying, what's in it for me? And again, these guys did pretty well without saying that.
Just reflecting on all this and listening to you talk about that just now, do we have dreams anymore? Like, are we just so distracted that it's whatever's next? Or do kids come up with a dream? Like their whole life they have a dream to do whatever, to do this. And for Jim Lindsey, he had a dream of playing for the Razorbacks. And then that dream just continued to grow. And that dream flowed over into the Razorbacks for many years after he played. And then in ways he could impact other people. But it all started with, man, if I could just get there, if I could just play. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try. And then it just kept growing. And you know, like, I just wonder, do we have that? Do we have a dream? Like, Jim's dream became, like, for his school to be the most special place, even after he was done playing football. A dream that you could feel, like, that got other people excited. Coach Broyles was was very similar. Those two in tandem. And when you talk about, like, hey, how do we recapture that? I don't know if I have the answer for you, but I know that's the thing that has led to so much of the success that Arkansas had and that people want to see happen again. that kind of spirit and that dream.
Well, you've got to put something other than yourself first. I mean, you just do. And we had such a unique situation, and the world's different now. And I'm not casting stones, but athletic departments operate differently now. I'm kind of old school. I like the Godfather days. I kind of miss those. I think you need somebody that loves it more than he loves himself. I think you need people like that. And he was one of those people.
Yeah, the Godfather thing isn't about him. It's about
protecting
something.
That's right. And I can remember back, and you do too. Oh, we got to break up this good old boy network. Well, a lot of those good old boys were the ones that were keeping the thing rolling. They were the ones because they loved it. They loved it not because it was because of all the things that had given them in life. They loved it more than they knew how to describe. Sometimes maybe they loved it too much, but you never had to wonder where their heart was. It was never about them. And a lot of this stemmed from Coach Broyles.
You find me a good old boy network in college athletics, and I'll show you a successful place. Well, they might get in their way some. They might step on their own toes, and they might screw it up and whatever. But the quote good old boy network, or that's the people that know where you come from and what you're protecting and who you are. When you get away from that, you spend a lot of time trying to figure out who you were.
Ask Wisconsin if life was better with Barry Alvarez. Ask Michigan if life was better with Bo Schembechler. Of course it was. Of course it was. And you need someone like that, I believe. And I'm not saying that's the only way. This guy out of Texas Tech's trying to become that guy. But I don't know that his heart's necessarily in the right place compared to some of those other guys. He may be an example of one who loves it too much. But you do need people like that. And we were very fortunate for so many, many years to have Jim Lindsey and Jim Williams. And, I'm going to, if I start naming names, I'll leave people out. Because there have been so many of them that have built what we enjoy now.
I know that this may feel like a different kind of show today, and it is. And we're remembering Jim Lindsey, icon, Titan, legend. And it may feel like, oh, this is like a couple of old guys just remembering whatever.
I don't care.
But history matters. Like, documenting history matters. Like, go back and watch 22 straight if you're a Razorback fan, and just see if you don't get goosebumps and you don't get some pride, and you don't get a hunger and a desire for what they had. There are so many guys on that team that are still living today, some of them still living today, that they came from Arkansas. They all had this dream. They all had this thing about what it meant to be a Razorback, and so many great things came out of that. And it's like somewhere along the way we lost a little bit of it, and today we're celebrating a guy who held on to it and kept it together, was a big part of that for so long. And as we lose people like this, I'm just telling you, just my perspective is you got to find other people that know what it means to feel and dream and believe and act like Jim Lindsey did. If you want to be successful, and it's not just about sports, it's about life and all that, and impacting people in a positive way. But I'm just talking about it from a football perspective. It's hard to say, oh, well, kids don't grow up, wanting to be a Razorback. Like, and it's hard to make this happen again and whatever. Well, I mean, let's look at the spirit of who Jim Lindsey was and what the core values and principles were about who he was.
Well, yeah.
And that is the foundation that I think, we've just kind of lost a little bit over the years. And I don't mean to be cynical, like, oh, it can't happen again. But I think hearing about him, hearing about his story should make us all want to be a little bit more like that.
Oh, there's no question. And I think about him and his contemporaries. We're not that far removed as a state when life was not as good as it is now, when Northwest Arkansas wasn't as affluent as it is today, when, the balance of power was maybe on the other side of the state as opposed to where it is now. My point is, a lot of these guys, and I suspect Jim Lindsey was one of them, they didn't grow up with a whole lot. It's not like these guys were a bunch of rich kids. When they talk about dreaming, that's what most kids in poor southern towns did back in that day. You dreamed. That's all you did was you dreamed about it. Very few of them ever made it a reality. I'm sure in Forest City there were a lot of dreamers. And, Jim Lindsey found a way to make his Arkansas dream come true. And that's very rare.
7:16 on the Chuck and Bo Show. Bart, good morning. You good? Everything good? You turned us on to a new breakfast this morning. McDonald's came out with a brand new
I don't really even know what it's called.
Honey butter biscuit.
Yeah,
brown honey butter biscuit.
Yeah.
And we're going to Pro-Land breakfast our way right through, power through the rest of the show, huh?
Yeah.
With that.
I mean,
you think it's good for us?
Something new. Try it out.
Houston Nutt's going to join us, who's another guy that had that heart for Arkansas and still does. And who I know just thinks the world of Jim Lindsey and his family, and he'll join us at 7:30. Ken Hatfield at 8. Pro-Land title providing the breakfast for us. You close with the pros and cheer with the pigs. Cheer for the pigs, close with the pros at Pro-Land title. Arkansas natives that live and work right here. 45 offices throughout Arkansas. Independently owned. That gives them the unique ability to put their clients first and the ability to say yes to transactions a lot of people can't. It's because of their relationships with a huge range of national underwriters. Pro-Land title. ProLandTitle.com.
Let's just be frank. There's been some football games the last few years that have driven people to drinking.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Blakeman's isn't just where Arkansas gets engaged. It's where you go to have a wonderful experience.
Every touch point matters, and I think what we show off best is Cafe B. It's Onyx Coffee by Blakeman's. Cafe B, we're offering the best coffee in the country, complimentary. I feel so fortunate to be able to go to work there every day. Big windows, the open lighting, the warm environment, and again, the cafe. It's the best.
Blakeman's, where every day is a diamond.
In a world full of shortcuts, one whiskey refused. 100% local Idaho barley, aged in Idaho's mountain climate. For complexity you can taste, a spirit that answers to the land and no one else. This is not just whiskey. This is a declaration. Warfield, American single malt whiskey from Idaho's most awarded distillery. Set the standard. Available at select retailers nationwide. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 or older.
Did you know Chevy of Fayetteville is the #1 volume dealer in Northwest Arkansas? That means nobody sells more cars, trucks, or SUVs than Chevy of Fayetteville. They've been a part of our community for over 25 years. They're supporters of our local schools and the Razorbacks. And they're the best after the sale. An award-winning service and parts department, a waiting area, complimentary loaners. So go see Chris Mark in Denver and the team at Chevy of Fayetteville, inside the Fayetteville Auto Park.
Who says bigger is always better? Burton Pools and Spas is the area's exclusive dealer for plunge pools by Thursday Pools. In-ground fiberglass pools designed for today's lifestyles with easy maintenance and more time for fun. Cool off after work, relax with family, or host friends for game day. And right now, installed plunge pool packages start under $40,000. Stop by one of Burton Pools and Spas' 5 convenient locations or visit burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, water for a better life. He's Chuck Barrett.
He's Bo Mattingly.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Who says bigger is always better? Burton Pools and Spas is the area's exclusive dealer for plunge pools by Thursday Pools. In-ground fiberglass pools designed for today's lifestyles with easy maintenance and more time for fun. Cool off after work, relax with family, or host friends for game day. And right now, installed plunge pool packages start under $40,000. Stop by one of Burton Pools and Spas' 5 convenient locations or visit burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, water for a better life.
In a world full of shortcuts, one whiskey refused. 100% local Idaho barley, aged in Idaho's mountain climate. For complexity you can taste, a spirit that answers to the land and no one else. This is not just whiskey. This is a declaration. Warfield, American single malt whiskey from Idaho's most awarded distillery. Set the standard. Available at select spirits retailers nationwide. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 or older.
Summer may be the off-season for the Razorbacks, but it's the perfect season for the restaurant at Stonebreaker. Located in Fayetteville on Markham Hill, the restaurant at Stonebreaker features seasonal menus built around fresh Arkansas ingredients. Plus, enjoy inviting spaces to gather with friends and family. Whether you're stopping in for drinks at the bar, dinner on the screened porch, or relaxed evening in the parlor, you're sure to find something worth coming back for. This summer, pull up a chair on the hill. Visit stonebreakerhotel.com for more information. That's stonebreakerhotel.com.
Man, I love spending time at Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. The golf, the people, the hospitality, and the events they host always hit the mark. Members enjoy it all. They've got state-of-the-art practice facilities, dining, events, a big pool with a snack and beverage bar, as well as tennis and pickleball courts. There's no initiation fee, and for out-of-towners, a membership is only $185 a month. Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. Your home away from home.
Hey, thanks for tuning in this morning. Hang out with Bo and me every weekday morning from 6 to 9 live on YouTube or Twitter, or catch up with the podcast version of the show available on Spotify and Apple.
Are you owning the day? Like, if you're not, at that point, it's still early enough to get your butt in gear, right?
Can I point something out here? It's okay to drag in the morning. It's okay. I mean,
You're not helping this.
I don't care. We're not a self-help show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Yes. Breakfast is in. The nutrition is in.
Sustenance.
And we've got the strength to continue. Good morning. 7:22. We're coming to the end of summer. It's coming, I think. It's just getting hotter.
It doesn't feel like we're near the end.
Well, how many weeks are we away from school? What is it, like the 11th in Fayetteville School District?
It starts earlier every year. It starts July 4th.
Today's the 21st.
Are you speaking about summer, the season, or summer break for school?
Yeah, I knew you would help clarify, Bart. I appreciate it.
We're a long way away from fall. We're a long way away from actual fall. Now we're
I'm about to say, it's just going to get hotter.
Now, we're close to fall camp. Let's not confuse fall camp with actual fall. But
well, I'm thinking about
bad name. Just call it training camp. By the way, we need to eliminate fall camp from our vocabulary because fall camp does not happen in the fall.
Glad I brought her up.
It doesn't. It does not happen in the fall. It never has.
Well, the calendar and the seasons and they don't match up. You know, like the fall.
Right,
is
but it's not. It's
August
not. It's not fall camp.
Football.
It's training camp.
Well, maybe it's just preseason camp.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not really training like you used to be.
Does it really bother you? Is it something that, kind of just, you got enough to be upset about? I mean, I'd let that one go.
It's just like it doesn't make any sense, man.
It coincides with the fall semester. It's a school thing. It's a university.
That's what I was. Thank you for
remember.
It's
a student.
Yes, that's where I was trying to.
But the fall semester doesn't even start in the fall.
Yeah, but it overlaps. They can't call it the summer semester.
Well, yeah.
How about
this? They already had that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So anyhow, it's hotter than heck outside.
It is warm.
I mean,
I'm going to go back to eating my
It
biscuits.
is hotter than heck. We've had more rain this summer. I mean, you can mow your lawn twice a week. And I'm just waiting for when it gets so hot.
I think we're there.
That we don't have to keep mowing the lawn. You almost kind of back off to a week and a half or two. Because you don't, and maybe that's not the right thing to say. I don't know if it helps anybody if it quits raining. But it's and then still you don't have to mow the lawn quite as much because it's been, I can't remember it raining this much. But it's
a very, very wet June.
And July. And then here we are towards the end of July.
Now it's not going to.
It's not going to rain. I mean, it's
water your grass.
It's about to be hot.
Make sure you water
I mowed
your
my lawn yesterday. I thought I was going to have a heat stroke.
You probably need to mow it again today.
It's going to cool down for a couple of days, and then it's going to get really hot again. So
today is not the day to be outside.
It's not going to cool down today, but tomorrow.
Heat advisory, highs in the hundreds, or close to 100.
135 degrees today.
Heat index.
Wow.
Heat
It's
index
gonna be
near 200 degrees.
Heat advisory in effect, highs around 100 with a heat index at 110 or more. Rogers in Fayetteville. Roger, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're great, thank you.
I'm glad to see you back on the air. I have a cute story about Jim Lindsay while he was playing with the Minnesota Vikings. He came to speak a number of years ago to the Springdale Rotary Club, which I belonged to at the time. And while he was with the Minnesota Vikings, he related that one of his friends here told him that he should be buying some land, and he bought a pasture that was somewhere between Fayetteville and Springdale. Once he bought it, there was a whole lot of people told him it was the stupidest thing he ever did with his money. Years later, after he retired from the NFL, he sold that land, and it is now where the mall is located between Fayetteville and Springdale. And he was told at that point that it was the stupidest thing that he ever did. And I think he took the money and started his real estate company and all of his holdings with that. Yeah. Really cool story, and it was just reflective of the kind of guy that he was.
No question. It's a well-known story, and we appreciate you remembering that, Roger, and sharing it with us. I'm sure it was a treat to hear Jim Lindsay tell it. Oh, yeah. At that club that day. And again, at the Pryor Center, their website, there's a lot of video clips. There was a long interview that you could go and check out there. There's a Hog Pod, episode 32, that we did on Jim Lindsay a long time ago. And we're going to continue to remember him this morning. We're going to hear from Houston Nutt when we come back. Ken Hatfield a little bit later. We're brought to you in part by WT Equipment, family-owned, locally operated dealership, 4 locations across Arkansas, helping you get the job done with things like the legendary Bobcat. Whether you're running a farm, managing a job site, or taking care of your own land, WT Equipment has the tools to help you get it done, like New Holland, Hustler Steel, and, of course, the Bobcat. WTEquip.com. Get the job done with WT Equipment.
We got wackos, people. There are wackos everywhere. There are wackos everywhere.
I call them our bays. I mean, you call them wackos if you want.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I love a day or weekend at Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. The golf, the people, the hospitality, and the events they host always hit the mark, and members enjoy it all. State-of-the-art practice facilities, food, beverages, a big pool with a snack and beverage bar, tennis and pickleball courts, and they can even book you an exclusive fly fishing trip. There's no initiation fee, and for out-of-towners, a membership is only $185 a month. It's Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. It's home away from home.
Great people, great prices, and plenty to pick from. You get it all at Fayetteville Auto Park. Acuras, Chevys, Hondas, Toyotas, even a collision center, all at one location. Shop new, used, and certified pre-owned. Plus, Fayetteville Auto Park has hundreds of new and pre-owned automobiles with big discounts starting at under $30,000. Shop our complete selection online at FayettevilleAutopark.com. That's FayettevilleAutopark.com.
It's the Chuck and Bo Show. We're just kind of wading through it, figuring it out with you this morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Getting the job done means tough and reliable equipment, and that's what WT Equipment is known for. A locally family-owned dealership with 4 locations across Arkansas, and always ready to help you get the job done. WT Equipment carries the brands you trust, like the legendary Bobcat and more, and they're offering aggressive pricing on skid steers and mini excavators. Whether you need equipment, implements, or powerful Bobcats, the friendly team at WT Equipment is ready to help. Visit WTEquip.com.
Oaklawn is here for when you want the ultimate escape, all in one place. Check into the luxury hotel. Escape to Astral Spa, the only Forbes 4-star rated spa in Arkansas. Indulge at award-winning restaurants like the Bugler or the Oak Room and Bar, all before having the time of your life at the 24/7 smoke-free casino, where the energy goes all night. Here, excitement and luxury meet under one roof. Oaklawn Hot Springs. Join the fun. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Experience football game days on the Hill this fall as head coach Ryan Silverfield leads the Hogs into 2026. Great home matchups line the 7-game slate in Fayetteville, including kickoff in Arkansas on September 5th, the SEC home opener versus the Georgia Bulldogs on September 19th, and a Thanksgiving weekend rivalry battle with the LSU Tigers. Season tickets start at just $300 and are available now at ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
When it comes to a roof or remodel, you want somebody that's going to do what they say they're going to do. They're going to come in on time and on budget. And you might need it right now and can't afford it at this moment. Well, Teamwork has a plan for you. Now offering financing options like 0 down, 0% for 12 months, or low fixed payments over time and no payments for 60 days. Log on to their website, teamworkbuilt.com. Teamworkbuilt.com. Teamwork Roofing and Construction, built on quality and powered by Teamwork. Favorite Razorback from the Chad Morris era. Let's do that. We're doing random Razorbacks today. And Dionisio Gomez has the lead. He's the leader in the clubhouse. He is the Razorback of the day.
Brutal.
And we're going to look for your favorite Razorback during the Chad Morris era. Was it Ty Story when he came back with Western Kentucky?
It might have been. It was the loudest cheer of those 2 years was when Ty Story came back.
I think the crowd was actually rooting for Ty Story in Western Kentucky.
Where's Duval Wally?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Who
was a running back in the Chad Morris era? Do we remember any of this? Rakeem Boyd.
That's the only person I can think of.
From junior college.
Because
From
Devois
Notch
Whaley
Chance
he was a Bielema guy, right?
No, he played 1 year with Morris.
Did he?
He played the same year.
Most people did.
Yeah.
Most people played 1 year with Morris. Name the quarterback room for the Chad Morris era. How about that?
Cole Kelly,
Nick Starkel.
Nick Starkel. Ben Hicks throws picks.
Ben Hicks. You don't have to take shots at people.
Golly, Bart, come on. I mean,
Connor
he
Nolan,
did his best.
Connor Nolan, John Stephen Jones.
That's right.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's like 8 quarterbacks.
And none of them won an SEC
none
game.
of them panned out, did they?
Jack Lindsey.
Connor Nolan.
Jack Lindsey played, that's right.
Connor Nolan's in,
Now,
in
did Jack
AAA.
play for Lunny? Did Lindsey start when Lunny had taken over?
That's a good question.
I don't recall exactly. I think Lunny might have been the interim then.
Yeah. Better interim coach, Barry Lunny Jr., John L. Smith.
Well, people have done worse than 4-8. I think it should be probably noted there. I mean, John L., that was not a great year, but people have done worse.
Sure was. He sure
people
was
have done
entertaining.
worse.
Never miss a moment of the Chuck and Bo Show on demand, driven by the Fayetteville Auto Park. Watch us on YouTube, Twitter, every weekday, or stream the podcast version of the show on Spotify or Apple. Just search for the Chuck and Bo Show.
I will confess, I've reached the point in my life when my main goal every day is to get home. So once I'm there, it's going to take quite a bit to get me back out.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Jim Lindsey is, to me, the epitome of what a Razorback's all about.
Down the sideline he goes for 28 yards.
When he got a chance to wear that helmet, it was a total devotion of love for him. He would have died trying to play for the Hogs.
Never met a soul, not one soul that I could say, that felt about his school like I felt about mine.
His heart and soul has been Arkansas his whole life.
It was probably about 10 years ago. And my granddad was probably about 66. We were on about the 1 yard line, and my uncle JD asked him, "You think you could punch it in one more time?" He goes, "Just give me some pads, I'll get it in the end zone."
Jim Lindsey loved Arkansas, loved being a Razorback. He passed away yesterday at the age of 81. And Houston Nutt also loves being a Razorback and had a relationship with Jim that we're going to ask him to describe as he joins us now. Coach, it's great to have you back on the show. I hope you're well. I know this is a tough day, but Jim suffered for many, many years, also made a huge difference for many, many years for all of Arkansas. Good morning. Glad to have you. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me, Bo. Yeah, Jim is. It's hard to put in words, you know, how special this man is, and just the ultimate giver. And you're talking about a Razorback, and you talk about the passion, the love, the energy, effort, guts, all of those things. He's one of a kind. He is one of a kind, and he's something special to so many people, and it's just you can't put it all down on paper. You know what all he's done for people. He wasn't one to go around and talk about what he did. He gave to so many different groups and so many people you wouldn't even know about it. And but the thing that I miss the most, and I will miss the most, is I started working for him when I was coming out of Little Rock Central, and so Ken Turner set me up with a job. Said, "Hey, your summer job is going to be working for Jim Lindsey," and I said, "Okay, what will I do?" Said, "Well, they'll let you know." And so I got to pour concrete at Paradise Valley. I got to lay some log ties. I got to burn brush, and then we got to go to the apartments and clean swimming pools. And I'm gonna tell you something. In June and July, that was a pretty good deal to be able to jump in the pool and clean the pool and get paid for it. But my favorite time, though, Bo, is when it'd be lunchtime or at the end of the day, he'd say, "You eat lunch yet?" I said, "No, sir." "Get in." And we'd get in the car, and the conversations that this guy had about a Razorback, about his school. I never heard anybody talk with the pride and the enthusiasm that he had about being that Razorback, that player, and being that teammate. And it just from the time I was 18 years old, we were locked in. I just wanted to hear him. And the way he told stories, I could go on and on the way he told stories now. He was the greatest storyteller there is, but, man, he backed everything up because of his character and because of his attitude and being the ultimate giver.
Coach, he came from an era, from a generation where what's in it for me didn't come out of people's mouths all that much. And I don't know that I ever heard it come out of Jim Lindsey's mouth. And that generation, in terms of, our situation here, you want to talk about loving something more than yourself. I mean, with Jim, it was always about the Razorbacks, above and beyond all other things, it seemed.
Chuck, you're so right. It was always about that. It was always about, doing for others, and not what's in it for me. What can I do for you? And to me, that's the ultimate teammate. That's the ultimate lesson of always having a heart. He had a heart, I always said, bigger than Arkansas, bigger than the state of Arkansas. His heart was so big. And but you bring up a good point. As you watch in today's world, hey, what's in it for me? How much? What you going to do for me? All those questions, on and on and on. And you're exactly right. That never came out of Mr. Jim Lindsey's mouth, ever. And the one thing, when I worked for him, you wanted to do good. You wanted to please this guy because you knew how hard he was working at the top. And if you look at all the people that surrounded him, they all wanted to go to another level. They wanted to please, and they wanted to make him proud, and that's the leadership, that he had.
Coach, when you got the job here, what kind of an impact did Jim Lindsey have, not only being part of the hiring process, but supporting you and doing the things you were able to accomplish in your decade here?
Well, Bo, I always tell Lindy and John David that I probably wouldn't have been the head coach without Jim Lindsey. Coach Sproles put together a committee with the Razorbacks. He had Scott Bull, Bill Montgomery, Quinn Grovey, a lot of guys, a lot of good people, a lot of good men that were on that committee. And there was 14 candidates. And the resumes of the other candidates were really, if you look at Tuberville, Francione, and some of these guys, their resume was thicker than mine. I just been to Murray State in 1 year, 200 days at Boise State. And so Jim, what I always feel good about is I know that since the time I was 18, he believed in me. And so I think he really pushed it over the edge. And so then you fast forward, I can't tell you how many times I would hear him say, Danita, get Jim on the phone. I mean, I would hear that all the time. And I never will forget, Chuck, you'll remember that after the 98 season, Coach Sproles, he didn't say much during the year. We got on a good road. But after the season, Coach Sproles came in, and he said, Clarinda versus Houston. He says, right in there. He walks right in and says, hey, what do we need? What do you need? I said, Coach, I really need a meeting room. I'm going to get Jim on the phone right now. And he calls Jim. And within 31 days, the meeting room is done because of Jim Lindsay. And what else? Well, I'd like to have a players' lounge. You know, we don't live in the same dorm like when I played here. I want gym rats, you know. So he did a little players' lounge, you know, with a pool table and a ping pong set. And then they said, we really need a weight room. Go, let's get a weight room. What else? And so every phone call, every decision, I can promise you he was calling Jim Lindsay. And Jim Lindsay was that advisor. Jim Lindsay was that guy he leaned on, and just the wisdom that he had as a former player and as a businessman. He was a genius. He was so smart. And so, Bo, it's hard to answer that question without going in detail about how many times he helped me on little things, just little bitty things you don't even think about. But if you go down Razorback Road and you look at the weight room, you look at the meeting room, you look at all the things that we had back in those late 90s, Jim Lindsay is a direct effect of that.
I've called him the godfather of Razorback football for years. You know, when he was healthy and active and man, just I guess maybe a better word, caretaker. But it seemed like it wasn't necessarily that he had to be the one to get it done, but he made sure to get people together, and it had that common touch that made people want to participate. That just, it's hard to describe without just saying his heart and his spirit was contagious, and it made you want to be a part of it.
Without question. Always lifted me up, always. And you wanted to go to another level because of of what you just got through saying. And you can imagine, you know, his teammate, you go back to 64, and look at all the successful people that were on that team. And I think if you talk to Kenny Hatfield, he'll say the same thing. You talk to Jerry Jones, he's going to say the same thing. He was the ultimate teammate. And there's always 4 or 5 phrases that comes to mind with all the conversations that we got to have together. And one of them, even when things didn't go well, he would say to me, I'm on the high dive with you. And when you say that you're on the high dive with me, you know, you feel like, hey, I know this. I know he's in that foxhole with me. I know Jim Lindsay's in that foxhole with me, and I'm fixing to come out of this thing. And, you know, he motivated you. And that's what he's done with everybody that he's been with. Bud Grant, his head coach at Minnesota, would tell you the same thing, what he did in that locker room on the professional level. But I can tell you this, when he's with the Minnesota Vikings, I can promise you this, all his teammates with the Minnesota, they will tell you nobody talked about Arkansas the way Jim Lindsay did. Nobody talked about the Razorbacks the way Jim Lindsay did, because this state, from Forest City, Arkansas, to Fayetteville, Arkansas, this state meant so much. And, Bo, it goes back to what you said. Things got done, and he knew how to hit the right buttons for different people to motivate them to get things done the right way.
Houston, I mentioned this in the first hour, and I want to bring it up again. He was a really good football player, and we should not lose sight of that. He was the leading rusher and the leading receiver on a team that won the national championship, played in the National Football League for a number of years. I just wonder, as a coach, when you talk to someone like that, not just an advisor on how to run your program, but, I mean, this was a football guy. I mean, I just wonder, as a head coach, the value in having someone like that.
Oh, my gosh, Chuck, what a great point that you bring up, because there'd be so many times, you know, in between two-a-days that I'd be with him, and he would say something like this. You know, there's only 2 to 3 players on your team that can block a punt. I said, really? Out of 105 guys, only 2 or 3. And you know what, Jim? Chuck, Jim was exactly right. There's only 2 or 3. You know, Crowders, there's only 2 or 3 guys that would have enough guts to go in there and block that punt. And there's little things like that. You said he's a football player. And when the highlights that I watch, what's funny, when I see him come out of the backfield making a catch, you know, it's the old K4 for us when Hillis is out in the flat or Adam Daly's out in the flat, and you make that catch. And that catch usually, you know, you're going at an angle. You got to look that ball in, and you're probably going to have a collision very quickly. You know, the one thing about Jim Lindsey, he didn't worry about collision. He didn't flinch. And you mentioned the term football player. You could tell by the conversations that we had, he understood what they were going through. And he tells the greatest story there is, and there's not enough time for it, but he tells the greatest story there is about just being in that dorm room during two-a-days and you're flinching, you're waking up at night, hoping you're not late. Am I late? Am I going to be on time for this meeting? And going through all those times of those, the greatest teacher there is this game of football. It's the greatest game in the world, and he believed that. And he was a great football player and a tremendous teammate.
Coach, I got to think that Coach Broyles and also Jim Lindsey led to the kind of fire and passion and excitement that you brought in '98 and all those locker room speeches that are so famous that we still play them, and that fire of being a Razorback. And, you know, I don't want to say like, hey, we don't have that the same way as we did, and maybe we don't, but I guess I'd frame it up like this because I'd love your perspective on this. If we can learn anything as we celebrate his life and honor his legacy today, what can we learn from Jim Lindsey that we can take into the next 5-10 years that would benefit everybody as it relates to the Razorbacks?
Well, there's so many things, but I think the biggest thing is he's the ultimate teammate. And what I mean by that is it didn't matter if it was just blocking for a teammate or blocking for an extra point. He would do it to his fullest. You don't have to have talent to go full speed. And that's the one thing you knew from Jim Lindsey. He was going to give it everything he had. In fact, just this last week when I went with Tim, one of his caretakers, Tim, I went to therapy with Jim. And one of the doctors there said, hey, Jim, can you give me one more? Can you give me one more rep? And if you could have seen his eyes, even with the state that he was in last week, his eyes got so focused, he was going to give him one more rep. And that's what you have with Jim. He'll never take a lazy step. The ultimate giver of all givers, and he's going to do whatever it takes. So the biggest thing you take from him is, man, it's an unselfishness. And it's easier said than done. He's so unselfish. He's such a giver. He was a giver until his last day for others. But on that team and in that locker room, his teammates knew this. Jim Lindsey's not going to take a lazy step, so I can't. He won't take one play off. I can't. And so that, to me, is Jim Lindsey, and the toughness and the character and all those things that tie in. But he was just something to me that it's just we're going to miss him so much, you know. I really missed him the last 10 years because of the conversation we didn't get to have. But, you know, he was still there, and I felt like he knew who I was, who Coach Hatfield was, or the Monday morning, you know, they had a Monday luncheon all the time, and Nita was so good, and John David and Lindy, Sarah, all those. I mean, the family's phenomenal. But again, it starts with who? It starts with the daddy. It starts with him.
Wow, really well said. Coach, thank you for spending this time with us today, and our thoughts are with you and the entire Lindsey family. We appreciate the time.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank y'all, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Honoring Jim Lindsey as he passed away at the age of 81 yesterday. Back in a minute. You guys are part of my family. Everyone that listens to this show is just part of the Chuck and Bo family. We're building a community here.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Summer in Arkansas means long days outside.
Whether you're headed to the lake, playing 18, or firing up the grill with friends, summer in Arkansas keeps you moving.
And with all those summer activities, you're going to need a beer that keeps up.
And that's where Yuengling Flight comes in. Just 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs, brewed for people who like to stay active and still enjoy a great tasting beer.
Make Yuengling Flight part of your summer plan.
Yuengling Flight, the next generation of light beer.
DG Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Enjoy responsibly.
You're right, Chuck. You're right. You're right.
You're not wrong, Chuck.
Because
that's
we don't
all
want
I wanted to hear. That's really all I wanted to hear.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I love a day or weekend at Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. The golf, the people, the hospitality, and the events they host always hit the mark, and members enjoy it all. State-of-the-art practice facilities, food, beverages, a big pool with a snack and beverage bar, tennis and pickleball courts, and they can even book you an exclusive fly fishing trip. There's no initiation fee, and for out-of-towners, a membership is only $185 a month. It's Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. It's home away from home.
Summer in Arkansas means long days outside.
Whether you're headed to the lake, playing 18, or firing up the grill with friends, summer in Arkansas keeps you moving.
And with all those summer activities, you're going to need a beer that keeps up.
And that's where Yuengling Flight comes in. Just 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs, brewed for people who like to stay active and still enjoy a great tasting beer.
Make Yuengling Flight part of your summer plan.
Yuengling Flight, the next generation of light beer.
DG Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Enjoy responsibly.
Ben Blakeman joining us to talk about something they've been doing for 35 years, helping Arkansans with their stories and jewelry.
You know, we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to feel confident. We want you to be educated. And we have a larger selection. We have more opportunities, more availability. Some people come in knowing exactly what they want. Some people come in having never been into a jewelry store before. We want both experiences to exceed all expectations.
Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, the official jeweler of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Looking for the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits? Macadoodles or Guess Who in Bentonville has you covered.
Having what they came down here for in stock on the shelf is very important. You're going to find everything that you could possibly want. I've heard customers tell me, Bo, over the years that they may be sitting around, somebody brings up some weird name whiskey, and somebody will chime in and say, well, if anybody's got it, it's going to be Macadoodles.
Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista at the state line, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
Hey, thanks for tuning in this morning. Hang out with Bo and me every weekday morning from 6 to 9 live on YouTube or Twitter, or catch up with the podcast version of the show available on Spotify and Apple. When you win, you get to say anything you want. That's what sucks. When you don't win, the other guys get to say anything they want, and you just got to take it.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
It also just sucks losing.
That does. That does.
Just in general. Arkansas basketball team's going to play Indiana on November 17th at Madison Square Garden in New York City.
MSG,
another game at MSG. Yeah. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey confirmed there have been real conversations about whether the SEC should break away from the NCAA.
Just stop.
We'll get into that.
That's not going to happen.
A little bit later.
Stop.
And Josh Heupel, speaking at SEC Media Days, seemed to be encouraging the fans to throw more things at Lane Kiffin. Remember the last time Kiffin was there, golf balls came out of the stands.
Certainly hope our fan base hasn't cooled off. So whether it's the grocery stores being fully stocked with mustard, or our sports stores making sure that they got reinforcements on the golf balls. Hopefully Knoxville's ready for his arrival.
Now that seems a little much.
Yes,
that seems. I mean, we want people to say things
just short of
throw some golf balls,
bring a dozen golf balls,
and a bunch of mustard. And throw it at Lane Kiffin. Bart, your thoughts?
That's Tennessee being Tennessee, man. That's about what you've come
to.
Does it make you pull for Lane Kiffin in that game? Could you actually pull for Lane Kiffin?
I won't ever pull for LSU. I also won't ever pull for Tennessee. So
I got you.
But in that game, you will pull for somebody.
It'll happen during the course of the game.
Stand up and actively
will happen
root,
organically.
But your heart will tell. Will have you pulling.
It depends on the situation.
You'll silently root
when we get to that point. Whenever we get to that game, who would be more painful for if they lost the game? I'll cheer for the other team.
What if Lane Kiffin says, "Bring it on, bring it on, baby"?
I don't know. Lane Kiffin is. I think he's a likable villain. I don't have really a lot of affection for Josh Heupel. I don't know what it is, but there's nothing about Josh Heupel that makes me go, man, I want to root for that guy.
Lane Kiffin's got a little twinkle in his eye. You know that he knows he's full of it.
Yeah.
But Heupel takes himself a little too seriously.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, at least that's what it is for me.
How good is Tennessee?
I don't know.
Arkansas is going to play them this year.
I don't know.
I mean, do we have any idea how good Tennessee is?
I'll be back with a report.
I mean, is Josh Heupel going to end the year on The so-called hot seat? Ken Hatfield's coming up at 7:55. Good morning. There's no better shopping experience than you're going to find at Macadoodles or at Guess Who in Bentonville. With an unbeatable selection, amazing prices, and service that's unbeatable, they've got everything you need. Roger and the team are always there to help.
I love it. I've been doing this for 53 years, and one of the things I love most about it is our customers. Part of what makes me love the retail business is just the interaction with my customers.
Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
If fresh seafood is calling your name, Fish City Grill in Rogers has been answering for 20 years. Just check the chalkboard. Fresh fish comes in daily, and the specials are always worth a look. Crawfish season is rolling, the raw oysters are as good as you'll find anywhere in Arkansas, and happy hour runs Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. It's locally owned and worth every visit. Fish City Grill in Rogers, near the Pinnacle Hills Promenade.
This is Chuck Barrett, and I'm so glad I chose McDonald Eye Associates for my recent cataract surgery. They took great care of me. You have to have good vision to be the voice of the Razorbacks, and I'm glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye. I learned patients of all ages have a lot of options when it comes to modern surgery to reduce or even eliminate your eyeglasses. They've been taking care of patients for over 50 years, and that says a lot. So for your best vision, trust McDonald Eye. Online and same-day appointments at McDonaldEye.com.
Oaklawn is here for when you want the ultimate escape, all in one place. Check into the luxury hotel. Escape to Astral Spa, the only Forbes 4-star rated spa in Arkansas. Indulge at award-winning restaurants like the Bugler or the Oak Room and Bar, all before having the time of your life at the 24/7 smoke-free casino, where the energy goes all night. Here, excitement and luxury meet under one roof. Oaklawn Hot Springs. Join the fun. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Oh, no, I don't want Lane Kiffin at LSU. I want weird stuff going on.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
At First Security Bank, banking isn't one size fits all. It's personal because everyone's financial journey looks a little different. From managing day-to-day spending, to running a small business, to helping your kids learn more smart money habits, or taking that big step toward buying a home. At First Security, you get the services you expect, the technology you need, and the real support of local people who live here, know the community, and take the time to understand what you're trying to accomplish. Life moves fast, and having a bank that moves with you makes a difference. Whether you prefer stopping by a branch, banking on the app, or picking up the phone to talk with someone who actually knows your name, First Security is there. They offer smart tools like mobile banking, bill pay, and mobile check deposit, along with thoughtful solutions like flex banking for kids, checking built for small businesses, and local mortgage lenders who guide you through the home buying process. Choose the power of personal. Bank better at First Security. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. When it comes to a roof or remodel, you want somebody that's going to do what they say they're going to do. They're going to come in on time and on budget. And you might need it right now and can't afford it at this moment. Well, Teamwork has a plan for you. Now offering financing options like 0 down, 0% for 12 months, or low fixed payments over time and no payments for 60 days. Log on to their website, teamworkbuilt.com. Teamworkbuilt.com. Teamwork Roofing and Construction, built on quality and powered by Teamwork. For over 25 years, Pro Land Title has been making title insurance easy for Arkansas families. Founded right here in Arkansas with over 45 offices statewide, their team of title insurance veterans will work alongside you, your realtor, and your loan officer every step of the way. They're independently owned, so the only priority is you. Their relationships with national underwriters allow them to say yes when others can't. Cheer for the pigs, close with the pros. Visit ProLandTitle.com and get a quote today.
Previously heard on the Chuck and Bo Show.
I do think that there is value in this because, look, I don't know how else to say it. As you build, if you're struggling, as you struggle, all of those things. Sometimes it's better to do it with kids from your own backyard than it is with kids that nobody knows anything about, because you root for kids from your own backyard. And that's one of the reasons that I think it's important
for all programs to sign in-state kids. And I know the portal is going to determine a lot of programs' fates. Maybe Arkansas is one of them. I don't know. But you got to have that core. I also think it grows the game, and it makes it fashionable. Now, you can say, well, it's football. I mean, what are you talking about? Football is already, you don't need to grow football anymore. I think you need to grow the idea that high school football players in Arkansas can go play for the Razorbacks. That's what a generation grew up believing. And I'm not saying it hasn't always been true. The truth is, it has always been that way. But I think the public perception perhaps has changed in that regard. And I think what he's doing there is good. Now, look, if you go out there and you're full of in-state kids and you're, nothing changes, maybe that's not the way to go. But I honestly think, Bart, what he's doing right now, I think long term, I think this benefits a lot of people. I just put it that way.
Hey, it's Bo. Thanks for tuning in. Hang out with Chuck and I every weekday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. live on YouTube or Twitter. Or catch up with the podcast version of the show available on Spotify and Apple.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
I think I should donate my brain like an NFL player when it's over. Then you can all find out what happened.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, it really wasn't his fault.
Yeah. He was just nuts. He was just good old-fashioned crazy.
He was a troubled man.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You're just talking. You're just talking.
I'm ready to roll right now, Bo.
Cheats, steals.
He's a real talk show host.
Live from the Warfield Distillery Studios, Idaho's most awarded distillery.
Let it out.
Let it out.
Let it rip.
Let it go.
If you're a Hawk fan, be a Hawk fan.
Hey, Bo, you're wrong.
Come in at your own risk. Nobody's safe in here.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
Catch is made by Hatfield at the 19. Avoids one tackler. Another. Gets a great block. He's up to 25. The 30. He's got some blockers ahead of him. Up to the 50-yard line. Hatfield at the 40. Down to the 30-yard line. The 25. Hatfield is going all the way. Arkansas has scored the first touchdown of the game.
The first thing I did, I caught the ball, and then I remember I had to sidestep a guy who was right on me when Jim Lindsey came over, I think, and blocked him, and I had to kind of step out of the way. And once there, then pretty much I took off for the sideline, which happened to be on our sideline anyway. And as I'm running, I can see, I already know where our players are supposed to be. And sure enough, they had run so hard and so fast, they were all there.
Ken Hatfield talking about the punt return against Texas the year they won the national championship.
Forever.
And Jim Lindsey threw one of those first blocks, and Coach Hatfield's joining us now to remember his teammate as Jim Lindsey has passed away at the age of 81, and we're celebrating and remembering and honoring his legacy today. Coach, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Coach.
Thank you. It's good to be here talking about Jim Lindsey any day.
Well, let's just start there with your teammate, your friend, and how would you sum up, and I know it's hard to do, but what are some of the first things that come to mind when you talk about Jim and his legacy?
Jim's legacy is what you see is what you get. He always a joy. He always leave you laughing. He always trying to find something to be able to help somebody else out, which he always did on and off the field. And he just kept things light, whatever he was doing. He was a great player. I remember him catching one pass that really Freddie threw, and nobody could have caught it but him with those long arms he had. He reached up and caught the thing in the winning drive in the Cotton Bowl, and he was just such a joy. We played against each other, although he growing up when I was at Helena and he was at Forest City, and we were dire enemies all the time, and so we had great respect for each other. And then we got up here to Arkansas and we're teammates, and he was just a joy to be around, and he just made you play better when you knew he was on your side.
Coach, we've heard some of the clips from Jim during the course of the program today, and he uses that word dreaming or some form of the word dream a lot. Talked about laying in bed and tossing a football around and dreaming. And you've done the same thing. You mentioned you were close proximity to one another. Can you describe what it was like in that era for a young man in eastern Arkansas tossing a football around on the bed, dreaming of playing for the Razorbacks?
Yeah, we were far away, but it's a great time to be here because we were the only state, I think, in the nation that everybody got up every morning was a Razorback and trying to figure out what was going on today or how can I help. And even though we were in East Arkansas and we played against one another in junior high football and senior high football, we had they were one of our big rivals, Far City and Helena. Far City mostly won the things with B. Lindsay and Sonny Holmes and all the great teams they had. But it was just a great area and great respect for each other growing up. And so it was really a thrill when we all got to be together up here at Arkansas.
I played that clip from 22 straight of, Coach, your punt return for a touchdown against Texas.
Yeah.
And then I started watching, more of 22 straight, which, by the way, is available on YouTube if anybody wants to watch it. You go back and watch that as a Razorback fan, and you kind of just get chills. I mean, there was something about the spirit of those guys and Jim Lindsay right in the middle of it. I mean, what was it about the Razorbacks, the dream? And Jim carried that on well after his playing days, trying to help Arkansas in any way he could.
I think you hit it on the nose. I mean, that was his love for his state, and he was always in the position of what can I do to help someone else out, whether it be playing football, whether it be helping someone else out in the state who needed a chance to get going in business or having some contacts. He was always ready and available and be able to help any way that he could. And that was just his mantra. And he just cared about people in the state. And I think it was very evident, and it showed, too, in everything he did.
You know, he's in some of these other clips, Coach, he uses that phrase, attitude of gratitude. And I just wonder your observation of him in that respect, the way he lived, the gratitude that he had for what had happened to him in his life.
I think he always had that. He was a very humble man, and, he drove a long way from Caldwell to come into Far City. It wasn't like he lived in Far City proper. I mean, he had to get there and get home after practice every day, too. So he was earning it the hard way, even when he was in junior high and high school there in Far City and Caldwell. And he had great roots from the country and hardworking people and a hardworking town that he grew up in. And, of course, he had B, a brother in front of him, and Sonny Holmes. He had some great players to look up to, when he was going on. And I don't think he ever wanted to disappoint them in anything he ever did.
Ken Hatfield's our guest. Coach, I got to ask you, just go back. Can you describe Jim Lindsay as a teammate? What was it like?
Well, Jim, he was always laughing. That's the one thing about it. It didn't matter whether getting dressed to go to practice or at practice or finishing up with practice. He was always laughing. And we'd looked at him, and we were about worn out. We couldn't go one more step, and he was always ready to go one more step. Let's get one more. And he would just do whatever the coaches thought needed to be done. He didn't worry about being a leader because he was a leader by example. And everybody kind of looked at him and said, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And so that's the way he was, and everybody kind of just rallied around that Razorback spirit, and it made all the difference in the world.
We talk and hear about this story all the time of his $75,000 signing bonus when he got drafted by the Minnesota Vikings and how he spent it on that plot of land that's now the Northwest Arkansas Mall. What do you remember about those days? People may be calling him crazy, whatever. Give us the early career of Jim after football.
Well, I think that was it. The biggest thing when he had an opportunity to do something when he invested that money in Northwest Arkansas. You knew he was the name Lindsay was going to be prevalent in this area forever, which it was. And that was just a small start that, again, his dad said, my gosh, son, they gave you a check and look, you spent it on all this old rock and dirt and everything. And but he had the vision. He knew what the heck he wanted to do, and he went out and did it. He made everything better for this community, whether it be the Salvation Army, whether it be helping somebody in need, whether it be giving somebody a job that needed just a opportunity to get started. Jim was always available. He would do whatever was needed, and people continued to call on him, and he continued to do whatever he could for the good of Northwest Arkansas.
From a football coach's perspective, when you have someone like that on your side, so to speak, on your team, what does that mean for a head football coach?
Well, you know, when you're always looking for example, if you're trying to do something new or change a practice plan or try to do something a little bit different, you look for him for leadership. And he was always the one to join right in. If the coach wanted to try something new, assistant coach or head coach, he was going to be first in line. He didn't wait for someone else to do it. He was going to be a leader. He was just a leader by example in everything he did. He said, if Coach believes this is something we need to do, then let's do it. And everybody else just picked up and followed in and jumped in with him. It wasn't a matter he had to sell anybody on any kind of idea because he was already doing it. And you have players like that, that's what you're looking for on any kind of team, somebody that said, let's go, and not worry about the cost, nor worry about if the coach thought it was important, then by golly, let's do it. And he was that way, always willing, and always upbeat, too. He'd always be joking and laughing, and I mean, it's kind of like a Jim Grizzle all the time, too, with Jim Lindsey.
You know, I'm recalling the story Bobby Petrino told me just a few months ago that when he became the head coach here, Jim Lindsey said, now, look, we don't practice on Sundays. We go to church. And Petrino figured out a way to have a chapel, and then they could still practice later that day. And he said Jim signed off on it. But there were just certain things that were important to him. I looked at him as like the caretaker of Arkansas football for decades after his playing career was over. And I asked Coach Nutt the same thing. We'll ask you, what can we learn in celebrating and honoring and remembering Jim today and for years to come? What can we learn by recalling these memories that we can take forward and apply moving forward, in your opinion, Coach?
He was an Arkansan through and through. He cared about the state. He cared about the people in the state. He cared about the future of Arkansas, and whatever he was going to do, he'd always consider what effect it would have. And, you know, he went so far that pretty much wherever he went, you know, and he had golf courses and things all over the nation. And he always did the same thing. They were always done exactly the way he started out doing things here in Arkansas. And his contribution of wherever he was, he'd go into a community and always made it better than what it was when he got there. That's the one thing he did. He wondered, what can I do better? What can I leave a lasting impression that people will continue to work together in a community for the good of that community and the good of the state? If there's anybody that was a true Arkansan that came from Caldwell outside of Forest City for all the things they did, he is an example of a giver, an Arkansan, and somebody that you can always emulate and say, this is what Arkansas is all about.
Coach, Ken Hatfield, winningest coach by percentage in Arkansas school history and helping us remember his friend and teammate Jim Lindsey today. Coach, thank you so much and all the best to you. How are you doing, by the way? How's life?
Life's good. Life's good. I can answer the phone, get up and answer the phone, and I can still hear you, so that's good.
That's awesome.
Thank God for little things.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's always good to see you.
Right.
And thanks for making time for us.
Bo.
Thank you.
All right, bet. Thank you all very much.
Take
Great
care
day
now.
for Jim Lindsey.
Absolutely. Ken Hatfield. He's still getting around good. He still goes, hits golf balls, and I see him walking around, and he's always out there getting a walk. Really,
he's taking care of himself.
Yeah,
Coach Hatfield's really taking care of himself.
He looks great. Yeah. Happy for him. We're brought to you in part by Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Maybe you've heard, if you need a new roof and you don't have the funds right now, they can help you out. They're offering something that's kind of unprecedented in that world and Roofing and Construction, where you can get some financing. 0 down, 0% for 12 months, low fixed payments over time, no payments for 60 days. Maybe you need help with your deductible. They'll help you with that. You need a remodel. You don't want to wait, but you've got a check coming later. They can help you with financing. Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Log on to their website. Learn more. TeamworkBuilt.com. Built on quality, powered by Teamwork.
There we go. Here we go. Let's take some personal shots. You want to? I mean, come on. Let's take some personal shots at him.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Experience football game days on the Hill this fall as head coach Ryan Silverfield leads the Hogs into 2026. Great home matchups line the 7-game slate in Fayetteville, including kickoff in Arkansas on September 5th, the SEC home opener versus the Georgia Bulldogs on September 19th, and a Thanksgiving weekend rivalry battle with the LSU Tigers. Season tickets start at just $300 and are available now at ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
Oaklawn is here for when you want the ultimate escape, all in one place. Check into the luxury hotel. Escape to Astral Spa, the only Forbes 4-star rated spa in Arkansas. Indulge at award-winning restaurants like the Bugler or the Oak Room and Bar, all before having the time of your life at the 24/7 smoke-free casino, where the energy goes all night. Here, excitement and luxury meet under one roof. Oaklawn Hot Springs. Join the fun. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
In a world full of shortcuts, one whiskey refused. 100% local Idaho barley, aged in Idaho's mountain climate. For complexity you can taste. A spirit that answers to the land and no one else. This is not just whiskey. This is a declaration. Warfield, American single malt whiskey from Idaho's most awarded distillery. Set the standard. Available in select spirits retailers nationwide. Drink responsibly. Must be 21 or older.
Are you a real estate agent looking for more than just a place to hang your license? Then it's time to discover the difference at Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. At Weichert, you'll find industry-leading training, powerful marketing tools, hands-on support, and a team that's invested in your success. Whether you're a brand new agent or a seasoned professional, Weichert gives you the resources you need to grow your business and reach your goals. Ready to learn more? Text CAREER to 479-306-6139. Your next chapter starts here.
Hey, I'm sorry if this makes too much sense. I am more than happy to hear where I'm off on this.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Looking for the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits? Macadoodles or Guess Who in Bentonville has you covered.
Having what they came down here for in stock on the shelf is very important. You're going to find everything that you could possibly want. I've heard customers tell me, Bo, over the years that they may be sitting around, somebody brings up some weird name whiskey, and somebody will chime in and say, well, if anybody's got it, it's going to be Macadoodles.
Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista at the state line, and Guess Who in Bentonville. Who says bigger is always better? Burton Pools and Spas is the area's exclusive dealer for plunge pools by Thursday Pools. In-ground fiberglass pools designed for today's lifestyles with easy maintenance and more time for fun. Cool off after work, relax with family, or host friends for game day. And right now, installed plunge pool packages start under $40,000. Stop by one of Burton Pools and Spas' 5 convenient locations or visit burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, water for a better life. When it comes to a roof or remodel, you want somebody that's going to do what they say they're going to do. They're going to come in on time and on budget. And you might need it right now and can't afford it at this moment. Well, Teamwork has a plan for you. Now offering financing options like 0 down, 0% for 12 months, or low fixed payments over time and no payments for 60 days. Log on to their website, teamworkbuilt.com. Teamworkbuilt.com. Teamwork Roofing and Construction, built on quality and powered by Teamwork.
Summer in Arkansas means long days outside.
Whether you're headed to the lake, playing 18, or firing up the grill with friends, summer in Arkansas keeps you moving.
And with all those summer activities, you're going to need a beer that keeps up.
And that's where Yuengling Flight comes in. Just 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs, brewed for people who like to stay active and still enjoy a great tasting beer.
Make Yuengling Flight part of your summer plan.
Yuengling Flight, the next generation of light beer.
DG Yuengling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Enjoy responsibly. Hey, thanks for tuning in this morning. Hang out with Bo and me every weekday morning from 6 to 9 live on YouTube or Twitter, or catch up with the podcast version of the show available on Spotify and Apple.
If you listen closely, you can actually hear society crumbling.
You can.
If you listen closely.
You can.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You know, this has been today, I don't know how else to describe it for me, but it's been heartening. Like it's kind of I don't know, it's made me, when you remember somebody that lived their life like Jim Lindsay did, I don't know, it kind of fires me up. It kind of gives me some motivation. It's a sad time to ever say goodbye. Even though, you know, it was a rough go at the end for Jim and he just battled, as Houston Nutt told us, to the last rep. How about that story?
Last rep.
Can you give me one more rep at his physical therapy? Just last week. And he did. And he said the look in his eye. But it's been a heartening day for me. And I wish for Arkansas, if you want to talk about a dream, my dream would be that we can somehow recapture that heart and fire and spirit that Jim Lindsay had. I know this probably makes me sound so old right now, but I'm okay with that because I think that is the reality of you want to recapture wins, you want to recapture your football program. You know, it starts with an attitude and an unselfishness, and it's bigger than me mentality. But man, I want to be a part of it so bad. And that was Jim Lindsay. And I've really enjoyed what we've gotten to hear today.
Well, and if you're a Razorback fan, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the Razorbacks. And with guys like Jim Lindsay and Coach Hatfield and those guys and Coach Broyles, and it was about the Razorbacks, first and foremost. Look, you know, I'm not saying these guys didn't do well in life, and I'm not saying that they didn't try to make a living, because they all did. But it is amazing. I said this earlier. I've come to believe this over the course of my life, that it is amazing when you put a cause greater than yourself, you know, above you, so to speak. All that stuff does come back to you. I mean, tenfold. And, you know, these are men and people that, you know, they worked for something that they felt like was greater than themselves. And they didn't spend all their time asking what's in it for me. And it turned out what was in it for them was far greater, 10 times greater than the people who got up every morning thinking, you know, how can I win? You know, how can I do this today? Or how can I make this about me today? You know, what can I do for myself today? You know, when Coach Hatfield talked about how these guys love their state, you know, I go back to, I told this story earlier about hearing Jim Lindsay talk about the monetary value of goodwill. You know, when you build apartment complexes all over the state, and I mean, he went out of state. I had Gulf Shores, those who've been down there. When you come in and you're building apartment complexes in a town, you better have some goodwill about you, because there's going to be people that are going to be against you. You know, there's going to be people that do not want that to happen. And I know, just on the conversations that I heard him have, in my case on the Burlsworth Foundation, was that he sincerely put other people's concerns and needs above his own in many respects, not just when it came to the Razorbacks. And I came to realize that people that are successful in that fashion, I mean, like Titan-like success, it's not because they woke up every day saying, what's in it for me? They are givers, and they give, and they give, and they give, and somehow miraculously it comes back over and over and over again.
If you want to hear or see more about Jim Lindsay, there's a Hog Pod that we did, episode 32. Great look at the legacy of Jim Lindsay. The Lindsay Story is a documentary that's out, 22 straight, obviously not just about Jim, but the 64 national championship, winning 22 straight, that Larry Foley produced. That's on YouTube. And we have pulled from all of those things today as part of this. And then the Pryor Center has a page on Jim Lindsay. If you go to their website, and if you just scroll down, there's a little article, and then sort of at the bottom, there's videos. You can go watch clips. This is one I want to play. We haven't played yet, on Jim's real estate, what became an empire. And part of it goes to kind of what you're talking about there, among those things that you were attributing, Chuck. He listened to people. Like he saw what people wanted.
And then I just kept buying and dealing, and got over into apartments. And when we got over into apartments, our business life changed right then. And the reason was that we found a formula that let us have a distinct advantage over the competition. Most people build an apartment complex. They look out one side, they got a balcony out the back side. We took it and put 2 fronts on it. Run all the utilities through a chase wall down through the middle. You have 2 fronts on the building. You don't have a back on the building where you got towels and things hanging off the balcony and all that. We had it to where both sides of it was the front. And we run a chase wall through the middle and put all the utilities in there, and it saved about $7,500 a unit. And $7,500 a unit equates to that much cash flow if you amortize it, if you don't have to pay it. And in fact, people liked our unit better than they did the one that had the balcony anyway. And so then we put amenities with it and then golf with it, and that became a very positive, important, positive movement for us.
So you knew a little bit more than just
sounds
football.
so simple, doesn't it? It just sounds easy.
Just like everything.
Yeah. When you've got common sense, it's not that hard to figure out.
That's
is
a
it?
great word. Those are 2 great words to associate with Jim Lindsay.
Common sense, it's not that hard.
Common sense. We're brought to you in part today by Warfield. We're coming to you from the Warfield Distillery Studios, Idaho's most awarded distillery, now Arkansas owned. Hey, they've got a tasting coming up at the Walton Arts Center, Art of Wine event. Full product lineup plus cowboy coffee cocktail that is at Bordino's, which is part of the Warfield lineup. Tickets on sale now at the Walton Arts Center if you want to try Warfield out. Go to drinkwarfield.com to find a list of locations where you can get it near you, including restaurants or stores. Drink Warfield, Idaho's most awarded distillery, crafting premium spirits in the Rocky Mountains of Idaho. And now in Arkansas. 8:26, good morning.
Just get it together, people. You obviously are completely incompetent. I'm so sick of the morons, man.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Are you or a loved one struggling with addiction? There is hope. John 316 Ministries is a free, faith-based 501c3 program that has helped more than 3,000 people transform their lives over the past 23 years. This long-term inpatient program includes lodging, counseling, medical care, and job training, all at no cost to you. In a period of 6 months to a year, you could graduate with a trade, a purpose, and a fresh start. A spiritual boot camp for men and a safe refuge for women. Log into john316thecure.com.
Did you know Chevy of Fayetteville is the #1 volume dealer in Northwest Arkansas? That means nobody sells more cars, trucks, or SUVs than Chevy of Fayetteville. They've been a part of our community for over 25 years. They're supporters of our local schools and the Razorbacks. And they're the best after the sale. An award-winning service and parts department, a waiting area, and complimentary loaners. So go see Chris Mark in Denver and the team at Chevy of Fayetteville, inside the Fayetteville Auto Park.
Kids, there's never a good deal good enough with a bad person. Still a bad deal.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Getting the job done means tough and reliable equipment, and that's what WT Equipment is known for. A locally family-owned dealership with 4 locations across Arkansas, and always ready to help you get the job done. WT Equipment carries the brands you trust, like the legendary Bobcat and more, and they're offering aggressive pricing on skid steers and mini excavators. Whether you need equipment, implements, or powerful Bobcats, the friendly team at WT Equipment is ready to help. Visit WTEquip.com.
Oaklawn is here for when you want the ultimate escape, all in one place. Check into the luxury hotel. Escape to Astral Spa, the only Forbes 4-star rated spa in Arkansas. Indulge at award-winning restaurants like the Bugler or the Oak Room and Bar, all before having the time of your life at the 24/7 smoke-free casino, where the energy goes all night. Here, excitement and luxury meet under one roof. Oaklawn Hot Springs. Join the fun. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Experience football game days on the Hill this fall as head coach Ryan Silverfield leads the Hogs into 2026. Great home matchups line the 7-game slate in Fayetteville, including kickoff in Arkansas on September 5th, the SEC home opener versus the Georgia Bulldogs on September 19th, and a Thanksgiving weekend rivalry battle with the LSU Tigers. Season tickets start at just $300 and are available now at ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
When it comes to a roof or remodel, you want somebody that's going to do what they say they're going to do. They're going to come in on time and on budget. And you might need it right now and can't afford it at this moment. Well, Teamwork has a plan for you. Now offering financing options like 0 down, 0% for 12 months, or low fixed payments over time and no payments for 60 days. Log on to their website, teamworkbuilt.com. Teamworkbuilt.com. Teamwork Roofing and Construction, built on quality and powered by Teamwork. Favorite Razorback from the Chad Morris era. Let's do that. We're doing random Razorbacks today. And Dionisio Gomez has the lead. He's the leader in the clubhouse. He is the Razorback of the day.
Brutal.
And we're going to look for your favorite Razorback during the Chad Morris era. Was it Ty Story when he came back with Western Kentucky?
It might have been. It was the loudest cheer of those 2 years was when Ty Story
I think
came
the crowd was actually rooting for Ty Story in Western Kentucky.
Where's Duval Wally?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Was
Who was a running back in the Chad Morris era? Do we remember any of this? Rakeem Boyd.
That's the only person I can think of.
From junior college.
Because
From
Devois
Nice
Whaley
Chance
was he was a Bielema guy, right?
No, he played 1 year with Morris.
Did he?
He played the same year.
Most people did.
Yeah.
Most people played 1 year with Morris. Name the quarterback room for the Chad Morris era. How about that?
Cole Kelly,
Nick
Ty
Starkle.
Story, Nick Starkle, Ben Hicks throws picks.
Ben Hicks. You don't have to take shots at people.
Golly,
You can say,
Bart, come
golly.
on. I mean,
Connor
he
Nolan,
did his best.
Connor Nolan, John Stephen Jones.
That's right.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's like 8 quarterbacks.
And none of them won an SEC game.
None of them panned out, did they?
Jack Lindsay.
Connor Nolan.
Jack Lindsay played. Yeah, that's right.
Connor Nolan's
Now,
in
did Jack
AAA.
play for Lunny? Did Lindsay start when Lunny had taken over?
That's a good question.
I don't recall exactly. I think Lunny might have been the interim then.
Yeah. Better interim coach. Barry Lunny Jr., John L. Smith.
Well, people have done worse than 4-8. I think it should be probably noted there. I mean, John L., that was not a great year, but people have done worse.
Sure was. He sure
people
was
have done
entertaining.
worse.
Never miss a moment of the Chuck and Bo Show on demand, driven by the Fayetteville Auto Park. Watch us on YouTube, Twitter, every weekday, or stream the podcast version of the show on Spotify or Apple. Just search for the Chuck and Bo Show. I was just thinking this morning on the drive in, boy, it's going to be nice to see Chuck, and I don't usually think that.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Looking for a place to watch the games. Walk-Ons is a great experience. I had dinner there last night. Just a quick dinner.
Was it good?
Yeah, had the salad.
Was it good?
Yeah, they had a Southwest bowl, had that. Kara had the big Cobb salad they have. I mean, the food there is so good. Well,
it is good.
It was that kind of night.
Everything they have there is good.
A lot of times we'll do something a little more substantial, but that was the kind of night it was. And 60 televisions or more in every location, and all the food's made from scratch, and it's fantastic. But the game viewing experience, like World Cup, I was in there for a World Cup game. They got the audio on, you got the environment. It's like next to being at the game.
It's like you were there.
Yeah, if you want to be at home by yourself, that's one environment. If you can't be at the game, which is obviously another environment, the in-between is when you got people watching the same thing you're watching, and you've got that crowd atmosphere that can be fun. And while you're there, ask about Yuengling Flight. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer, 95 calories, but taste like a Yuengling without the extra calories. Yuengling, Flight by Yuengling. Okay, it's 8:33, and SEC Media Days continuing in Tampa, day 2.
Yes.
Yesterday, Greg Sankey had to say something, so he said this about the SEC potentially breaking away from the NCAA.
So they're real. People have talked about that. They've opined about the frustrations that bring them to the point of saying we should look at something significantly different. I do not believe that is a leverage point. I think that's just honest communication. And so understand that beneath the observation is frustration. But I also know the pride with which I spoke of 13 national championships, and there is meaning and value. And I do think a national expectation that we participate in a national organization, but that national organization must function in a healthy manner.
So he said nothing there. He just said that the conversations were real about people bringing it up. It's not happening.
That's just
and there's
stop.
frustration.
I mean, come on.
And it's just there's just so much talk, and but it really doesn't lead to anything. I'll say it's just like the same thing over. But what the issue we have, to me, if you boil it down to one thing in college athletics, is you have too many competing interests. Meaning, the ACC, the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12. They're all protecting their own interests, whatever those might be. And if you zoom out a little bit further, I would say it has to do with the college football playoff, and we have a selection committee. And so you're positioning your conference to be in the best spot to be selected for the playoff. And the key word is selected. As long as we're selecting and we're voting on participants in the college football playoff, I think it's highly difficult for us as college football as a whole to really be on the same page. If we were qualifying for games in the playoff, it seems a little more cut and dry. I don't care how good your conference is. But our conference is more difficult to play in argument, and how many non-conference games, Power 4 games you have to play, and all of that stuff, it doesn't really get decided on the field like we would like for it to. It goes to a committee. Think about this. It goes to a committee at the end of the year. Is there not a certain element of that you think is ridiculous? That we vote on who's going to play for the national championship? Like, we play all these games to get to a point where there's a committee? And any committee and any vote is based on what? Popularity. Everyone has a bias. We're all influenced by bias. It's impossible to get around that. And when you're comparing and contrasting different conferences, so now for at least 2 or 3 years in a row, all these SEC and AC, all these conference media days have been the commissioners getting up there and pounding their chest about how good their conference is.
I just think
it's like they're politicking.
I just think the conversation about breaking away is silly.
Well, yes.
Look, this is about pooling TV money. The latest round of We're Going to Break Away is about this bill before Congress that's going to require the pooling of TV money. That's what has provided the latest impetus for a few. The Georgia guy comes to mind, of the ADs that have talked about let's pull away from the NCAA. Think about what that would be like. I know it sounds, we'll just secede from the union. We'll just form our own football league. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have an SEC only schedule from now till the end of time. How long is that going to be fun?
Not long.
Not long.
Never.
I mean,
never.
I mean, we're saying things that are like, well, by God, we'll just pull out of the NCAA. If they take our TV money, well, we'll just go do our own thing. Well, no, you won't. You're not going to do that.
You're going to build.
It's suicide.
You're going to build a 16-team crappier NFL. That's what you think. I know. But that's what you're talking about, and that's what you're threatening. That's a hollow threat. Go ahead, do it. See how it works out for you, because your fans will stop caring. Nobody will care because you're taking away and stripping away what college sports are supposed to be.
Now, having said all that, the SEC and the Big Ten are between a rock and a hard place right now. It's not their job to prop up the Big 12 and the ACC. It's not their fault that the Pac-12 folded. It's not their fault.
It is the Big Ten's fault.
But my point is, if they'd handled their business better, there wouldn't have been an opening for the Big Ten or the SEC to.
Larry Scott holds all the blame.
My point is, from an SEC and a Big Ten perspective, I understand why they don't want to share their TV revenue. I get that part completely. But is the answer just like seceding? I don't think so.
Hey, we've spent a lot of time today talking about just like looking out for something more than just yourself. right? And not and maybe putting others' interests ahead of your own. We spent a lot of time talking about that today. The SEC and Big Ten could learn from that, because all it ever is with these talking heads that these leagues have sitting in the commissioners' chairs it's about them and how they're going to make more money. And I'm not talking about the leagues at large. I'm talking about the people sitting in those seats, how they're going to make more money.
Would we enjoy college football more? I'm just posing the question. I don't know the answer. Would we enjoy college football more if the television money was pooled and all the conferences were about the same? Would we enjoy it more? I don't know.
Probably.
I think it'd be more fun.
I think you have.
Is that the greater good? I guess is what I'm asking.
I think in a lot of ways, yes.
It goes back to who is looking out for the overall sport.
Well,
and
nobody.
what you just, the question you just posed. Who's posing that question, and how many people does it take to pose that question, honestly ask the question, and try to answer it honestly for something like this to happen, which is the best thing for the game. The issue that we have, again, is everybody's got a different interest. Greg Sankey's job is to protect the SEC. Petitti's job is to protect the Big Ten. Every other commissioner, the same. And then narrow that down all the way to your own athletic director. Your own athletic director, what is his number one job? To protect his own job. Secondarily, what you hope happens is that they do a good job running their department to protect their own job. We have a system that is set up to be about me. Show me something different. Show me how our system in college athletics is anything other than I got to look out for me. Don't get me wrong. There are people trying to do things like Cal's getting guys to play for each other. He's trying to better people's lives. He's trying to make a difference. He talks about it all the time. Admirable. And it works. But like as a system, it is literally set up starting with your own athletic department for what's the best thing for me. And what ends up happening when you get in that environment is that creates a situation where everybody starts doing that instead of doing the opposite of that. It's just where we are in college athletics. Where does the course correction come from? It has to happen.
Does it?
But what makes it happen? Well, you either disintegrate from selfishness.
Well, I'm not saying that's not going to happen.
I
don't think that's out of the question.
Well, what I mean is when you get to that point, usually that's what a course correction would be.
Yeah,
we've disintegrated this whole thing.
We're not quite there.
But I mean, I'm not trying to act like there's no hope. I'm just trying to point out this is what you're dealing with.
If things do not change, if there's not wholesale change to college athletics, fans will stop caring in certain places because people are not stupid. Well, some people are. What people are not stupid. What I mean is people will realize that they don't have a shot and they will never have a shot and they will stop caring.
That's one of the products of super conferences. And when you talk about what really ends the greater good, super conferences give you a lot of power as a league, but you also have about half of these conferences that, in all honesty, cracking that glass ceiling is virtually impossible.
It's
virtually impossible.
Look at the Big Ten, for example. Okay, Purdue. I'm sorry, you do not have a chance. You do not have a chance.
What about Arkansas?
Michigan State, you do not have a chance.
What, does Arkansas have a chance?
Rutgers, Arkansas does not have a chance in the current climate.
This is where we're going.
I'm sorry.
Remember when we used to just get on here and talk about what the season was going to be like? Yeah. Like, hey, what kind of years is it going to be?
Good old days.
How many wins?
In the me first selfish setup that we are in college athletics, unless some guy with billions of dollars comes in and just gives the Razorbacks $100 million a year or $500 million a year or whatever, Arkansas does not have a chance in football. In football. That's just the way it is.
I don't agree with you.
Why?
Because they do have a chance.
Why?
Well, because you get up to the middle of the conference and you win 9 games and you get into the playoff.
How's that going to happen?
You get yourself, from a resource perspective, to the middle of the conference.
You get a great quarterback. That's where you
get
start.
a great quarterback. Hey,
better start right there.
I'm telling you. Well, we were going to bring this up from yesterday. We can talk about it when we come back. Somebody was talking about Indiana being did more with less last year. And
Indiana had a great roster.
They had a great quarterback.
But they started off with a bunch of players from JMU. Okay, and that, along with a couple of key transfers, mainly the best quarterback in the country, and a really good head coach, and then some hope that ignited their fan base, came together in a big way. But you get yourself, from a resource perspective, able to compete and quit losing players to like Mizzou or Ole Miss or Mississippi State, and you're just in the middle of the conference, and you get you a great quarterback and a great coach, and maybe they have a great coach now.
I don't even think you have to have a great coach.
So
I think you got to have a great quarterback.
I understand that, but let's
I'm just answering your question about why they would have a chance. We got to take a break.
Yeah, but I know we have to take a break, but real quick.
but he's got the Phil Steele magazine out for crying out loud.
That's the whole thing.
Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, Illinois, Iowa, Oregon, Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, Penn State, Wisconsin, Purdue. That was Indiana's schedule last year. Arkansas is never playing a schedule like that. Ever.
Ever?
That's why things need to change in college football. Because Arkansas and schools like Arkansas are in a terrible position where they do need a super donor like this meathead at Texas Tech to come in and inject as much money as humanly possible into the program, because that's the only path forward. Unless you're playing a schedule like that.
That is the Chevy of Fayetteville situation.
That is the situation, Ruben.
Getting a Silverado and drive off.
Oh,
they had over 200 of them.
How do you add anything to that?
On the lot right now.
Oh, my gosh, what a great selection. They've got him. Chevy Silverado. You can save big money right now, too. And ask them what's wrong with college football. I mean, they probably got a thought on that as well. 8:47. This is a Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Derek, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
How about them hogs, gentlemen?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
When it comes to a roof or remodel, you want somebody that's going to do what they say they're going to do. They're going to come in on time and on budget. And you might need it right now and can't afford it at this moment. Well, Teamwork has a plan for you. Now offering financing options like 0 down, 0% for 12 months, or low fixed payments over time and no payments for 60 days. Log on to their website, teamworkbuilt.com. Teamworkbuilt.com. Teamwork Roofing and Construction, built on quality and powered by Teamwork.
Man, I love spending time at Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. The golf, the people, the hospitality, and the events they host always hit the mark. Members enjoy it all. They've got state-of-the-art practice facilities, dining, events, a big pool with a snack and beverage bar, as well as tennis and pickleball courts. There's no initiation fee, and for out-of-towners, a membership is only $185 a month. Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. Your home away from home.
Great people, great prices, and plenty to pick from. You get it all at Fayetteville Auto Park. Acuras, Chevys, Hondas, Toyotas, even a collision center, all at one location. Shop new, used, and certified pre-owned. Plus, Fayetteville Auto Park has hundreds of new and pre-owned automobiles with big discounts starting at under $30,000. Shop our complete selection online at FayettevilleAutopark.com. That's FayettevilleAutopark.com.
Hey, it's Bo, and I had no idea how little I knew about insurance until my man James Boyette of State Farm started telling me. For over a decade, he's been delivering real value, not just the lowest price. That means helping customers find the right coverage for their life with personalized plans that evolve as life changes. Serving all of Arkansas and Missouri. If you're looking for a true insurance partner, auto, home, life, whatever you need, go to JamesBoyett.com. Getting the job done means tough and reliable equipment, and that's what WT Equipment is known for. A locally family-owned dealership with 4 locations across Arkansas, and always ready to help you get the job done. WT Equipment carries the brands you trust, like the legendary Bobcat and more, and they're offering aggressive pricing on skid steers and mini excavators. Whether you need equipment, implements, or powerful Bobcats, the friendly team at WT Equipment is ready to help. Visit WTEquip.com. Ben Blakeman joining us to talk about something they've been doing for 35 years, helping Arkansans with their stories and jewelry.
You know, we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to feel confident. We want you to be educated. And we have a larger selection. We have more opportunities, more availability. Some people come in knowing exactly what they want. Some people come in having never been into a jewelry store before. We want both experiences to exceed all expectations.
Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, the official jeweler of the Arkansas Razorbacks. You know, see, this is what the Chuck and Bo Show is. You just show up and have coffee with you.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
For over 20 years, ProLand Title has been making title insurance easy for Arkansas families. Founded right here in Arkansas with over 45 offices statewide, our team of title insurance veterans will work alongside you every step of the way. They're independently owned, so their only priority is you. ProLand Title can say yes when others can't. Cheer for the pigs, close with the pros. Visit ProLandTitle.com to get a quote today.
Hey, it's Bo, and I had no idea how little I knew about insurance until my man James Boyette of State Farm started telling me. For over a decade, he's been delivering real value, not just the lowest price. That means helping customers find the right coverage for their life with personalized plans that evolve as life changes. Serving all of Arkansas and Missouri. If you're looking for a true insurance partner, auto, home, life, whatever you need, go to JamesBoyett.com. Ben Blakeman joining us to talk about something they've been doing for 35 years, helping Arkansans with their stories and jewelry.
You know, we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to feel confident. We want you to be educated. And we have a larger selection. We have more opportunities, more availability. Some people come in knowing exactly what they want. Some people come in having never been into a jewelry store before. We want both experiences to exceed all expectations.
Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, the official jeweler of the Arkansas Razorbacks. I love a day or weekend at Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. The golf, the people, the hospitality, and the events they host always hit the mark, and members enjoy it all. State-of-the-art practice facilities, food, beverages, a big pool with a snack and beverage bar, tennis and pickleball courts, and they can even book you an exclusive fly fishing trip. There's no initiation fee, and for out-of-towners, a membership is only $185 a month. It's Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. It's home away from home.
Hey, thanks for tuning in this morning. Hang out with Bo and me every weekday morning from 6 to 9 live on YouTube or Twitter, or catch up with the podcast version of the show available on Spotify and Apple.
That is absurd to me and anybody who has a brain. Like anybody with any active brain cells at all. like what are you?
I have brain cells, but they're not always active.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Wow, Bart was
You're rolling, Bart.
Pent up emotion there on. Hey, I did hear from a former coach that watched a Clemson practice, Bart, that you're probably going to be right about them.
Yeah.
How many games do you think Clemson's going to win this year? Just real quick.
Let me just pull up their schedule.
Who's going to be the interim coach at the end of the year? Is Chad in the running for that?
At LSU, loss. Georgia Southern win. North Carolina. Probably a win.
Do we need to do their whole schedule?
Well,
let's go game by game.
I just wanted an overview. I mean, it's not a tough schedule.
Are they going to win 8 games? 9 games?
They'll lose to LSU. They'll lose to Miami. Maybe they lose at Cal on a Friday night.
SMU?
No,
they're
avoid
losing at
SMU
Cal on a Friday night. They're not going to win
at Cal. They're going to lose that on a Friday. They're going to lose that.
Cal's going to win that game.
So they'll be 2-3 to start the year, and that'll be that.
That'll be that. Josh Heupel, Tennessee. What kind of year are they going to have?
I think they're going to be.
They had a down year for them. I mean, he's actually had a good run, but it doesn't feel that exciting to me for some reason.
I think
8 wins last year.
I think they're going to be okay this year. They don't have a returning starter at quarterback, new quarterback, but they have a lot of skill position players, offensive line. back. A lot of players on defense back. They do have to play Texas and Alabama and A&M and LSU. So they do have a tough schedule, but I mean, so eight wins probably. Probably.
I don't know.
How many?
But I don't know. I mean, like,
hey, if they won 8 games last year on the heels of winning 10, he needs to have a good year this year. Those Wolves are going to start howling.
I'll tell you one team that's going to take a big step back this year is Oklahoma, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're the most overrated team in college football this year.
Wow.
We're
going to start there tomorrow.
Today is your day, Bart. National Be Someone Day. Be someone.
Be somebody, Bart.
I'm going to be somebody. National Junk Food Day.
Have some candy.
You're going to have a moon pie.
Yeah. What's your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Probably an oatmeal cream pie.
Nutty Buddies.
Any of them.
Have a day.
This is Chuck Barrett, and I'm so glad I chose McDonald Eye Associates for my recent cataract surgery.